Cool. All right, let's get into this. So I believe last time were we Dawn Warrioring back then? What were we doing?
Yeah, so that's I looked back at it because I was really curious.
Uh-huh.
And actually a bit shocked about like the progression and stuff because like so it was about 5 months ago I believe. I caved you on a like 242 Dawn Warrior. It's like 20k stat. I was just getting into like looking for like a lucid party and stuff.
Yep.
That was like what, like a month before Destiny, month and a half or so.
Yeah, and then you made you terror burned the Buccaneer, and then here we are now.
Yep.
Now you're running Black Mage, starting to practice on your
Yep.
47k buck.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you. Can I say no life? Is that offensive or is that?
Oh no, dude. Honestly,
Just throw it.
that's about as correct as it gets. I mean,
Okay.
I no lifed it until I hit about 250. Then I kind of took a bit of a not a break, but like just relax. You know, did some dailies, did bossy meals, whatnot, for a couple of weeks, and then Night Troop came, and then I like slowly pushed to 255, got into Illumina, and then Night Troop came out, and it was like, oh my god, this is ridiculous.
Yep.
And now I'm pushing for 267 by the end of Night Troop.
Yep. Nice. Gotta make my DA work for it to stay ahead of you. All right. So yeah. So what's the experience been? You loving the character? I think, right? Otherwise, you wouldn't have gotten this far.
Oh yeah, I mean it's just super. I don't want to say relaxing because that's not exactly where it's definitely a lot of ease. You know, you're just kind of bouncing around the map and using your mobbing skills and stuff. Like I don't mind doing totems and stuff, especially moving into CERN. It's like an off totem in CERN, and it feels just about as good as toteming. So
Okay. Yep.
like EXP wise.
Yeah, you can do those really big maps and just float. Yeah, just
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
launch
staying
yourself.
in the last map of the Gauls because it has decent burn, and I just like go in a big circle and you know,
Yeah,
do
nobody
pretty good
else
clear.
can do anything there, so you're like the only class that can really clear that in a decent level.
There's some Ho Youngs. That's about all. That's literally all I ever see is Ho Youngs in there.
Oh yeah, yeah, they could cover a decent amount over. Yeah.
Bossing wise, most broken class in the game. Nah, I mean, definitely got some overtune. It's definitely a bit overtuned, but like just talking about the bossing and stuff, the way it like with how many dash skills you have, and the only complaint you could really have about bossing is you do have to stay a bit close to the boss to make sure Lord of the Deep is continuously doing damage, because it's like I think full rotation it was like almost a quarter of my BA for a full rotation, so that's huge if you can keep getting that confirmed.
And the iframes and the burst, right?
Yeah, that's a bit tough. So like the first BM practice we had, I was just using it as burst, and then I got chewed out for that. And as soon as I started like proccing them for iframes and iframes only, like I mean I'm still getting that damage off eventually, but my survivability went through the roof. So
yeah, that's usually the thing when you're
huge.
just starting off with bosses, that you just need to know like where is it definitely necessary to hold them for, and just be, you know, rather safe than sorry. And then as things go smoother, you could be like, fuck it, I have enough lives, I'm just gonna throw it into the burst here. But you guys don't have a main support, right? So if you had a domain or something going on, or a benediction, then it would be a little bit different, because then you could get a lot of extra damage out of it. But even with that, if it lasts quite long, you could also just use it at the end of the burst, right? So that you can still use it within that, but just also combine it with an FMA.
yeah, I think they were talking about come ignition, we're gonna start trying to line up burst with Aqua's split, just to get more damage confirmed, get us out of P3 a little faster. But for the most part, it's just use it when you feel comfortable using it until we get a little bit more comfortable, especially in P3. P2, P1's a joke, we just blow it up. P2, not too bad, but it's, you know, you're also, everything's a little bit easier to dodge, a little bit less like active, just in the sense that like P3 you have to worry about kick like every like 3.5-4 seconds or whatever it is, so you're like always worried about that, and then other stuff's coming down and stuff too, so it's a bit more chaotic.
Yeah,
the
definitely.
learning curve,
especially if you rush too long to the right, or you go too early to the right, then the Black Mage himself starts wandering, and then he gets too far to the right, then you have to go left to reset. And then if you go too far, then you get supers again. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, we have no slow or anything like that, so
yeah.
we definitely have to reposition them every so often, or more frequently than that's necessarily ideal. But
yeah,
I think we'll be good by. I think we plan on trying to clear right at the start of next month because Aqua and Paul just lived this month, so
yeah,
I think we'll be good by then.
Yeah, I was thinking myself as well. I was like, damn, am I not going to do any run at all this month? And I was like, oh wait, we lived on October 1st. Yeah, I can't even run if I wanted to. Yeah, couldn't even clear. So yeah, we'll have to shoot for November clear there for you guys as well. Yeah, or get to fill-ins there or something for people who have random characters lying around. But then yeah, there goes your game plan. Have to switch all of that around. So that's the main thing, right? Trying to get those levels in for the run. And you feel like damage-wise, you're what's your like full rotation BA at like that? Have you checked it or? Hello? Oh, F's in the chat. Joe dead. Was a good run. We had a good time. Joe, if you're talking, I can't hear you. I don't know if you're accidentally muted yourself or something. Maybe you got a phone call or something. That happens. Sometimes, even though he no-lifed this, maybe he actually lifed in-game. He's still on Discord with a green dot. Well, I'll just scroll through everything and get a little bit of lay of the land. So we had 20 sack, and he's already closing out 265. He's barely been in the area. 19, 19, 19, 18, 16, 16, so those symbols. Yeah, this character hasn't even existed that long, so hasn't even been able to max. So that's still 13.2, so it's still 1.3k stat that you can get from that. I guess I'm really close to 50. So I'm gonna go for the most elaborate Joe Mama joke, maybe. Yeah. Alright, the Legion is at 6.6. Legion coins are being spent. ID critical damage full, go over into boss. Yeah, that seems good. Critical rate is not necessary because you get a lot of extra crit when you're bossing. You get 20 extra. That's why you say like the class is overpowered, overtuned. I'm thinking as a boss mule, it's probably also really high up there because you get a lot of IED and in your kit, and you get a 20% bonus crit rate to bosses as well for free. So it's really easy to get to those metrics. High mobility. But yeah, like you said, like you do have to know the bosses quite well. You have to stay close to them, and your iframes are in bursting skills, so they're not. Oh, you switched to phone. I see. Is that
hello?
Hello. Did your computer die on you?
I got no clue. I don't know.
Oh yeah, just nothing all of a sudden.
Yeah, I'm loading it back. Well, I could hear you still. That was the weird part. I don't know what,
yeah,
I don't know what exactly.
Oh, computer's back up. The computer took over. And there he is.
Hello?
Yep, we're back.
Good, awesome.
Good.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. Probably my Wi-Fi just wanted to.
Yeah, switch it off and on again, and there we go. Yeah, we were talking a little bit about like viability for Buck for boss mule and stuff like that because you've got your ID and your crit rate, right? It's really strong. Yeah, your symbols are coming along nicely.
Yeah, for like a boss mule, Buck's pretty nice because you can do one like set of trinodes for bossing. You don't really need the mobbing ones, and like I think with Lord of the Deep and stuff at a lower level, you can pretty easily one shot with it. If you're making like a 10-15k stat boss mule, it should be able to one shot in those areas, like lower level areas. So. But yeah, with like crit rate and stuff, you get 120% built-in crit rate when you're bossing.
Yep.
It's pretty ridiculous. And IED wise, I think you get a good bonus when you're I think it's just your orbs that get a good bonus, but like the base IED I'd say is pretty average. Like I wouldn't say it's like gets anything crazy like built into the kit. Like it's not gonna have like 95% IED without doing anything or anything crazy like that. But
don't you have the what is it, Typhoon Crush? Isn't that like 50% or something? or did they rename that? Was it fourth
I
job?
don't know.
I
think I read through a lot of the skills at one point, and the only built-in IED I could find was your orbs in lightning form have an extra 50%.
No, but so in the past you had that. I think it was called like Typhoon Crash or something. I don't know, in the past. Sorry, trying to get a mosquito. I think in the past you had a skill that was like, fuck, I think it was like 20% chance or something at 100% IED or something, and then they switched it to 100% chance of like 40 or something. I think. So you have like a passive 40 all the time.
Yeah. I have 2 skills, one that gives me 30 and one that gives me 40. I'm not really sure what they are, but if I go into the stat window, that's what it says.
That's pretty decent, right?
So
probably,
yeah, that is actually
more than like a Kana or something.
70% off the, or like 60-something% off the rip without doing anything. It is pretty good, actually.
He has like 30 out of 60, 18, so like 58%, I guess.
Yeah.
Best was it was 40% chance to get 100%. Yeah, and I was 100 to get 40. Yeah, exactly. They just switched the numbers around, which is way better, of course. Now we can reliably build around it, right? Rather than not being able to rely on it, but just knowing that sometimes it'll proc. It's nice to have that more reliable. Okay, you've got an interesting key layout. I guess you don't have many skills that you need to press. That's cool. So much freedom.
Yeah, I'm a big stickler on like trying to get my keyboard as simplistic as possible. Like even talking about like my burst lineup and stuff like that, for the most part it's in like it's in duration order except for lightning form, just so it's easier to throw the orbs for iframes and whatnot during the burst. A little bit of ease of access. I don't even bind the I don't bind the bossing and mobbing skill at the same time. Those just both go on shift whenever I switch whatever I'm doing. So I don't know, I try to keep it as simple as possible, just so it's not very confusing. I recently added the 2 will skills, Urda will and then Hero's will for BM. So getting used to those, I put my blink on the little squiggly key, so I gotta get used to that because that's tilde, I think that's what it's called. So I'm getting used to that, but other than that, try not to add too much clutter.
Yeah, no facial expressions, but I guess you have that NX item, so you can't make faces anyway, right?
Yeah.
Best in slot, so you don't get tempted to fill up your keyboard.
Absolutely. It goes hard. I got the glasses on too now. It's pretty drippy, I can't lie. It's gonna get replaced soon though. When I told myself when I tap my monocle back to 19 and get my weapon attack and stuff back, I'm gonna unequip the choo-choo set and go I'm just gonna go full transparent so I can see all my arcanes and then put on a little swimsuit. So I'm just purple.
Okay.
With the little swimsuit on. It's gonna be the new drip.
I guess that's the Buccaneer way to go, right? I think just Pally always running around with his speedo as well on his buck.
I think so, yeah. Either those or the little swim trunk shorts, either one.
You gotta get ready. You know, you're on a boat. You're a Buccaneer, so gotta be prepared for taking that dive at any moment. Okay, so I guess to get into the actual meat of the session, what can I do for you today? Did you want to like share your progress a little bit, like your process you're going through things and where you see yourself going, and then just kind of back and forth feedback? Or
so basically talking about events, like what's my best upgrade path for events, whether that's saving more money for the possible shining, to go for like 22s on some stuff. Obviously I want to I'll hopefully have enough, it's all RNG at the end of the day, but hopefully have enough to get my Sweetwaters to 21. Those are my last items that aren't 21. Then my main goal for a cube sale is I kind of wanted to try for and I know it's super copium because it's very expensive, but 3-line emblem and 3-line secondary, like 3-line attack. I'm pretty sure best in slot for Buck is 8 and 1, 8 lines of attack, 1 line of boss. So the closer I can get to that, I think I can capitalize on the stars that I have right now. Then just talking about anything, I'm moving into BM practice and stuff, anything that helpful tips or whatever. I know you sat in on one of the runs. I'm not sure how much you were watching, but
Mhm.
you know, any like oddball stuff that might not always be talked about, that could, you know, help me live a little longer, or, you know, do a little better, confirm a little bit more damage, anything like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. So what kind of meso are we talking? If we're looking at the upgrade path, like what kind of income are we looking at?
Okay, so
Oh, we got a belt.
I'm super. Oh yeah, dreamy belt. Too bad
One
I
day.
can't use it.
One day it'll be relevant.
Cope. Well, I've got a ton of Mesa right now, a whole 105 mil.
Okay.
But,
Yeah. Okay, that's the actual meso. Okay.
Yeah. So I make, just from bossing, I make like 105, or not 105, or what am I saying?
105 bill?
10
Yep.
yeah, 10.5 bill. I don't know.
Inflation.
I was
yeah.
stuck on that. I was stuck on that 105 mil base in the inventory.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I see.
I make around 10.5 bill just from bossing, so I'd say pretty consistent income because I do like the extra runs for Maple Tour and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say pretty consistently pre-training and pre-totems and whatnot, I make like 12 to 13 bill a week. So I have a pretty good amount of income. And then with pushing levels super hard right now, I'm getting like 2 bill a day, give or take. I took a little bit of a break like yesterday and stuff, so not there, but generally speaking, between 1 to 2 bill a day, just from grinding. But that's gonna slow down a bit at the end of Night Troop.
Yeah. Right.
But
so now it's like 20 to 24 bill a week, but it's gonna go down to like, I don't know, like 16 or something.
Yeah, probably
15.
around 6. I'll still keep training and stuff because we get our last set of totems, so I want to get 270 sometime next month. Just to get like a decent amount of damage. I should be around 90 bill per second, somewhere around there.
Yeah. Okay.
So I can kind of at least carry my own weight a little bit.
You did mention the like 21ing your Sweetwater. You said your monocle, but your pennant was already 21, right? So did you mean a tattoo, or are you just going to like just sit where you are now and just wait for like a mark and just like send those? Oh no, the Sweetwater pennant is 19 as well. Okay. So.
Yeah, all my Sweetwaters are 19 because I didn't have a ton of Dineros and I was trying to upgrade to Dreadnought as well. So I just got them to 19, and then after I tapped my Arcanes, I tapped my pendant because I thought I was on a hot streak. Or I tapped my monocles. I thought I was on a hot streak, and it boomed.
Yeah.
And I spent like 4 or 5 bill getting it back to 17. So I got a little bit punished for thinking I was a little better than I was there.
A little bit of karma to hold you, to get you grounded
Hold me
again.
back.
Yeah.
Tried it. So craziest thing is, my star forcing my entire account, and I have 2 other characters that are like 30k stat. My entire account's star forcing is like 180 bill. And my bucks is like, I think my bucks is around 90 bill for star forcing. So
pretty
I've been,
good gains for 90.
Yeah, I definitely been pretty lucky, especially with the arcanes.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know if you saw at the bottom my lucky hat that I got from a box. So
yeah. Well, that's the picture.
Yeah, so I got my I pulled my lucky hat from a box because I said if I tap my arcanes to 21, I'll grab a hat in remembrance of the special box.
Okay.
Yeah, so I did that. I actually did that after the 5, 10, 15. Over like a course like 2 or 3 days in like 10 bill. I tapped all arcades from 17 to 21.
Jesus. Not
It was the craziest.
Then,
oh my, no, none. That's why I had that box.
Right, yeah. That was the only box, and it survived the whole ordeal. So.
Yep, it was crazy.
22 eventually.
Cope.
You'll get some boxes before then, and then you'll be like, damn.
Yeah, but I mean, you got so much stuff that's a much more optimal attempt at 22, like CRAs. I'll probably try to, depending on how much money I can recoup between Cube Sale and Shining. I think that's a really good option.
I mean, definitely, right? You've got the extra discount coming. Plus Shining, like that's going to be definitely the time to try to get some 22s. And you have your current tattoo. That's a transposed one, right?
Yeah, transposed tattoo 86 and 5. 120 or something. I don't know. Like a 1 or low. It's like 117. I think it was before it was transposed.
1472.
And Yeah, I have a backup Twilight Mark.
Mhm.
And I don't know, I might be able to get like one or two more depending on what the drop rate, like what our drops look like.
Mhm.
Um, by shining, and if I do get a few more, I'm gonna attempt to try to 22 one of those before I work on the tattoo, because obviously that is best in slot until you get pitch boss cope. But
Yeah, I would do that either way. Like I wouldn't go further
Yeah.
on the tattoo, honestly. Like you can definitely for the because you have the transpose monocle and because of the pendant, because they're all transposed, right? But for the Sweetwater tattoo, you're in a really good position where you're strong enough now with this thing. So even if the marks go wrong, it's whatever. You can just keep this. But I wouldn't spend the extra money because you definitely want to move into the mark because you already have the ring, so you can immediately take that set bonus, right? And it might be a range decrease, especially since you have a transpose one. Might be a range decrease, but because of the boss damage, it'll overcompensate.
yeah, of course I rolled 33% on it.
Yeah, obviously. I don't know what the rest of the party's looking like, but you can get to the point where you're soloing, right? And
Yeah,
then,
I can solo. I can solo just green pot right now.
Mhm.
So yeah, I can solo. We do like a 3-3 trade.
Yeah.
So on the lucid side of things, I can get pretty much as many Twilight Marks as I want. We're trying to get Kyle's Cannon Master one first though, which isn't, shouldn't be like a crazy amount of time.
It should
a
be,
couple of runs, hopefully.
It could
yeah, it
be,
shouldn't
but-
be, but you never know.
Exactly.
I don't know. I have pretty good drop rate, so I can maybe get us. I got like 408 drop rate.
That's decent.
So-
Yeah, that's acceptable amount. Yeah.
I'd say it's acceptable. Yeah. But yeah, hopefully we get him one, and then I can try to maybe get one or two more, and then cope on a 22 there.
Yeah, you could also be in a situation where it's just, if you get one, you can just send it and just see if it goes. Because events are definitely nice for really big projects, but if it's just a single item, if it's a deciding factor between like, do I go, because there could be like a cube sale or something, right? If it's just like one item, if you're really trying to like 21 to 22, like a whole bunch of items, then I would definitely wait until an event. But if it's just one item, and we have an open room now as well, so you can, up to 15 is at least guaranteed, and you don't have to safeguard, so that's always nice. You could also just say like, I'm just gonna tap it, when you get one, because really until, and probably 21 isn't good enough for you, so until it taps to 22, you don't have to commit to it for anything else. So once you know that. But yeah, you can let that depend on your income. Of course, if you have 100 mil now, you can't do that. But that could be one of those things where once you get into that stage where you could just tap it whenever you get it, kind of thing. Waiting for events is not as necessary there.
Yeah, that was kind of the game plan. Like after at least cube sale, even in between cube sale and shining, I'm depending on how many I have or what my mace was looking like, it's worth a go. But I don't know. I'm super into. I don't know. What are your thoughts on this? But like, I'm super set on the idea of trying to go for a 3-line emblem in secondary. I know obviously it's like a secondary is like 90 bill or something like that.
Yeah, it's
so
pricey.
Call it average 60 on 30% off, and then the emblem's like an average of like 30 something. So call it 20. So like, I'd need 80 bill technically to have the average amount, but if I had 60 or 70, which I think I can do, because right now I'm kind of just going to start saving mode after this boss reset. It's a good crack. I'll have a good crack at it. Hopefully I can get at least one of them.
Because you're 97 IED now with the 30 extra. Sure, like
yeah, 30 extra. I checked it before we got the event buff, and I was like 94 point something visual. Without the event buff, and then without the extra line of ID on my emblem that I have now, and that's with no ID fams or anything. So like 95 functional almost, or somewhere around there.
Yeah, and then most parties have some kind of IED debuff going on, of course.
Well, and then you got the 9% from the mages as well,
and your boost nodes, and then the extra on the burst, right? The extra on the orbs that you mentioned.
Yep.
Yeah. And then the only extra you could get would be pitched, right? Does that have any? Keep forgetting.
I don't know.
There's mainly
I don't think
boss
it gets
in there.
any.
Yeah, there's a lot of boss, and then I guess they just replace it with critical damage, right?
Yeah, I don't know if it gets any even until you get past like getting rid of Gollux. if it does give any.
And then
I guess I can check my belt.
Yeah, you can check the belt. Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna go check my character, but I don't. Oh, actually, I might have a
3 set
belt
it
here,
gives
yeah.
10. 3 set gives 10. 6 set gives 10, and that's it. So
Yeah.
it's that's tough. I mean, 3 set wouldn't replace anything else that gives IED, so that is like
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
I
a good
guess
spot.
like possible, but even still, it's gonna be super tough to get those and at least 21 star them.
Oh yeah, but you know, maybe
Yeah.
you just maybe just lucky, and then they just go
Hopefully.
first try, and then you're good. You're done.
True.
That's all it takes for like 8 items, and then base. But yeah, that's probably your move, because I mean, there's like 3 things you could do, right? It's tapping things at 22. It's like finishing all of your like stat potentials, and it's like min-maxing your WSE. And other than that, it's like, you know, being an Oz prison. Like that's pretty much what you've got as your options.
Yeah, I'm not huge into the idea of Oz. I know people say it's not too bad. It doesn't look too bad, but I don't know. I'd rather go smack some mobs or something with that amount of time, especially right now with like what level I'm at. I think that's more more value per time, rather than hoping that I get an Oz ring out of a box like for an hour session of Oz.
I think the relative time value will change a lot once totems are out, because then it's like, you know, grinding off totem or grinding Oz comparatively, that'll make it come a lot closer in value, right?
Yeah, that's true for sure. And
you'll be
depending
closer
on what
to
level I
270,
get to.
yeah. Like if you get to 270, then it'll make more sense as well, because those rates are gonna tank, and then, you know, getting an Oz ring, as much as you feel like you're not as bursty as other classes, it's still gonna make a huge difference if you hit a 3 or 4, or one of the big weapon jumps. So that'll still be massive. Plus, that also takes a little bit of pressure off of at least one of your rings, right? That you don't have to worry as much about tapping 22 there.
Yeah.
Eventually. So we've got 19 whip. Yeah, so your WSE situation, let's see, you got a 12.99. So for mobbing, that's pretty much best in slot, right?
Yeah, that's what I've been using that for. I rolled that the other day, and I mean, CERN for me is really tough right now because there's almost no upgrade that I could make, especially with only having 20 sack, that is gonna make my Lord of the Deep one shot in CERN. It's just not gonna happen. So it's kind of, I don't know.
Do you
just
move
making sure stuff.
your Legion for that?
Yeah. I have a mobbing like with the normal monster, the crit damage, all of that maxed out. So
yeah, and then trying to go into like bonus EXP, I'm guessing, or do you just use like one extra crit rate link to fill in the gap?
I have a crit rate link, and I think in my mobbing Legion I go into the crit rate as well. Right now it's not super necessary because the event buff, but I hover around like 97 or something % crit rate without anything in hyper stats.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah, because the current event buff. So yeah, so ideally once you get into bonus EXP, then you don't have to go horizontal anymore, right, into the crit rate. You could just go up into the bonus EXP, and then from there just bleed over into the crit rate, and eventually go for like this kind of shape. But of course you'll have like this one won't be filled and this one won't be filled, because you know, lab pieces and all that bullshit. But so now you can one shot, but it's like very close, or it's like just off and you can't quite get there.
Well, my mobbing skill has been pretty consistently one-shotting before I tapped all my arcanes, like back when they were 17. I was
just
I had to pop it's just Lord of the Deep it's like the damage scaling on it is just not enough. But I can consistently two-shot with it, so it's all right. It just gets a bit annoying because it goes on cooldown. So you know,
that's the main downside, because the more kills you do, the more you reduce the cooldown, and then you can increase your uptime, right? Yeah, so I'm not sure exactly like how, like 100% how it works, but generally speaking, it's like if you're hitting more than you're killing, it's gonna go on cooldown. Yeah.
So if it's ticking twice on every mob, it's probably gonna, I think right now, because I have a consistently two-shotting, it goes on like a 10-second cooldown. So it's not too bad, but
that's
you
on 2 minutes.
It just becomes a
every?
It's a 1 minute skill, 60
Oh,
seconds.
Okay, okay. Yeah.
So it's not the end of the world. Doesn't ruin my rates or anything like that, but it just makes it a little bit
Yeah, you still feel like
little
there's
bit
room for improvement there.
yeah, for sure. I think if I had 50 Sacred Force, that I might be close to one-shotting with it, but
Yeah.
again, it's like I don't think it's ever gonna one-shot again, to be honest, especially pushing levels.
Yeah, especially if you want to go into a hotel. And your hyper stats are like completely set into. Are you prioritizing there the normal monster damage over the EXP or the other way around?
I have the EXP maxed out. I have crit damage 11, damage 10, normal monster damage 10. And then I'm waiting to level one more time, and then I'll put another one into normal monster damage.
And how far are you away from one-shotting with it? Is it like you're like 10% off, or is it like 30% off?
It's like 30% off at least. Yeah,
okay.
It's tough. That's why I'm saying it's like I'm only at 20 Sacred Force, so if I did have 50, it'd be close. Yeah.
Yeah, because if you're like really close, what you could do is like switch out the levels of the bonus EXP and of the normal monster damage, right? And see if that extra percentage damage is just enough to kill, because then killing faster without the downtime is worth cutting a little bit into the EXP. But yeah, if you're that far off, that's not going to be enough. It's really just sacred power. And yeah, I mean, I'm a little bit further in, but I'm only just at like 50 sacred power in my DA as well. It's just can't wait to. I'm 269 now, so like one more level, and it's like yay, 5% of my damage on on these monsters on the dailies. Like yay. This is going to be rough to kill, and it'll take a whole long time before you can catch up there. But yeah, just get 275 and get another symbol, you know?
True.
It also sucks that the first symbol the first level of the symbol just gives you 10, like an Arcane River at least gives you 30, right? So you have a little bit of a bump, but Sacred Symbol's not that forgiving at all, so they give a lot of stat, but not a lot of sack, so... I mean, that's the only thing you can do.
Pretty much, it's just like time gated at this point, and I think I'll still, even at 265, I think I'll still be getting half decent rates in CERN to at least get to 270, and then it's pretty much just going to be a hold point for there until I build up my Sacred Force, Sacred Power.
You're already using your guild skills, right? Just double checking for training.
I'm not right now, just because it's not going to do anything different. You know what I mean? But when I wasn't two-shotting with Lord of the Deep, I was proccing him every 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Like cycling the damage and the crit damage.
There could be a sweet spot with like a little bit of extra stack and moving around the link skills and using the guild skills that you could like squeeze it in a little bit earlier. That's possible, maybe. Because if you're 30% off, I mean, if you get the 30% critical damage, that is quite a big chunk. That's maybe possible, but yeah, it might be really close. There might be a lot of trouble for for not that much, but the other thing is that if you keep leveling, you start out-leveling the monsters really quickly as well, and then you lose the XP there, so you have to go to the stronger monsters again to keep up your rates, and then you're just forced to go back to your regular setup anyway.
Yeah, I think with the Gauls where I'm staying at, generally speaking, I can get at least 50 burn, and we are on a really big leveling event, so even after the event's over, hopefully those will go up to like 70 to 80, maybe even 100% sometimes. So I don't think it'll be too bad staying there till 270, but yeah, the level difference isn't ideal. Like if I do a totem, I might do it in library because they're 263, so I'll still be getting 10% extra bonus. But again, the burn, like there's literally no burn there, so
yeah, there's like almost no burn anywhere. Like you said, like the gold maps should be completely deserted, but even now they're like down to 5, so just a crazy amount of people in there. Map Ride Train, I know it's pretty popular, but it was like zeros all around. I think I saw 1 or 2 level 1s, and that was it when I was training today. So
yeah, it's definitely tough right now with the event going on. But you know, it's kind of a give and take. You're obviously getting a lot more EXP out of the event than you're losing from the amount of burn that you're not getting. So it's still very much worth it to get your totems in now, get your training in now.
I think a lot of the gains will mainly be once the totems are, disappearing and the last ones start getting used, is that you will see a lot of burn in those really, really, really big maps where you can just like float around. But yeah, if you can't one-shot, then you can zoom through the map, but then if all the monsters are still alive, the question is like, do you have the time because of the increased length of the respawn to just do 2 passes, just jump from one side to the other. That'll depend on practice and map checking and all that stuff. But I don't think those really big maps that there's going to be that much competition, because people are not going to be training together, and single people. I think anyone else except for Buck is not even really going to be able to go from one side of the map to the other. You'll have to get really good map teleports or something, right, to help some classes, or a lot of summons, but that's going to be rough.
Yeah.
So I think you're set up for a good path with the Buck there, that you're going to have that availability that not too many other people do. So that's a good future, I think, at least for your leveling capabilities. Hopefully 275 should be right within your reach.
Yeah, I'm hoping to hit 276 by the time we finish Lib. If we clear next month, we'll finish in June or something. So hopefully 276 by then. Maybe join a party to help out, but
when join a party to help out, what do you mean?
Join another party to help someone else Lib, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I see, yeah.
Afterwards, yeah, join a new party to help a couple of people who aren't Libbed yet.
Yeah, we'll see within the guild who's pushing. Maybe people have other characters that are bringing up then, right? Maybe from your own party, people are oh, I want to get my next character in there, and then you just do the split up with Lucid and Will, or with Will specifically, I think, right? Like you're doing now, and then you just do 3 and 3. Some people do that. Okay. But yeah, I think you can definitely, I guess, to circle all the way back to what we started talking about. I think you can master up the IED. So probably 3-line the emblem. That's definitely what you want to do.
I have a second emblem too because of the event, so that is nice.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if you had that, so because then you could just tap on the side and just pick whatever is nice. Probably find something with 12, and then 6 Allstat or something dumb like that, right? At least that'll give you more damage. So on mobbing, and then on bossing, it's probably still weaker. But I want to make sure that the IED doesn't suffer too much. I'm wondering how much ID you can still just get quote unquote for free just by having a bigger legion. Because I'm guessing other bucks.
You get 10% from the 7-day monster Parker. I don't have that yet either. Yeah, that's pretty scuffed right now, but I could probably iron that out in the next 5 or so weeks, I think. It's just the problem is some of the days I'm half done. I just finished Sunday. I have the Sunday medal, but
yeah, I know that one. Sunday and then Thursday, and then Wednesday is always behind because of patch day.
Yeah,
it's hopelessly behind.
Yeah, so I could definitely get that. That's an extra 10%. That's pretty easy. That might push me closer to that 95 visual mark. But yeah, I mean 95. I feel pretty comfortable with that. I mean, not trying to do Saren anytime soon, especially with Sacred Force and whatnot. So.
Yeah, and then the other thing that's going to be a relatively big gain, but that's a really rough one on how do you tackle that, is getting your inner ability involved in damage, right?
Yeah, so I don't know right now, especially with the totems being gone. It's not necessarily going to be about peak meso rates all the time anymore. It's more just the levels, and you get the meso as it comes. I'm debating on the next inner ability event, which I think is next weekend or the next weekend, something like that. Maybe trying for, I don't know. I just don't want to spend the money because I should circ for second line, definitely. I might wait till the next event till I have $1.5 million or so, maybe 2 mil honor. But going for 20% boss, second line meso, bottom line drop or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a bunch of options there, because I mean, on the one hand, yeah, it's not going to be totem rates anymore, but that also means that for some people that might mean that the meso line even becomes more important, right? Because now that's even the bigger part of your damage multiplier. But of course, since you've already started with the bossing mules and you're making a decent amount of income there, that's probably going to stay a really big chunk of your weekly income. So it might, for that reason. But a lot of people are also saying that item drop rate for end game is best in slot, because you want pitch boss drops, right? And it's almost more important to have that because you're gonna get enough damage through everything else and through leveling and tapping more stuff and finishing off potentials, etc., etc. And you're gonna get so strong that it almost makes more sense to keep the drop rate because then you can actually get the drops, and then once you're like full pitch, then you can roll out of it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But,
so you're saying like top line drop is what you're getting at?
I mean, I think in this situation, there's a lot of options. You could have people who say like, dude, if you're strong enough to just to train and to kill what you can kill, and there's no real pressure anywhere, then you just keep this, and you just sit on this for quite a bit. And you don't really have to move out of it. Just wait until you have more honor experience, and then kind of see how the game changes with the totems, and then see how your income changes and see if you really want to. Another line of thought that I could see here would be keep the drop rate, just lock that drop rate, and roll for another top line and try to get like the boss on top, for example. But not with this amount. But you could also say like, you could also just lock the first two and just see if you get anything on the bottom, because you still could get boss damage to debuffed, even crit, but that wouldn't be relevant for you. Attack maybe, because base attack on the knuckles is not super high, but there's like still some outs. That second option, I think, locking the drop, I think I would see some people do that, but it would really depend on. I would definitely wait, until totems is over, and then kind of just see how does your income, where does your money really come from? If it's coming like 90% off of boss mules, or crystals in general, right? And then like 10% off of your training, then getting rid of the meso is not that huge, and that could be a 20 boss, and that would be significant. Because that 20 boss will also help with your scaling if you want to re-roll the because you have boss fams as well, right?
Yeah, I have 3 20s. So it's not the best, but
I mean, I have 0 on my DA, so
Yeah, 3 boss fams is 3 boss fams.
I think 3 20s, yeah. Because the weapon having 2 lines of 30 boss is also not like super
I know
ideal.
It's not ideal. Like obviously when I lived, like that's not gonna happen. But it is what it is at this point, especially I 19 started and everything. It's got like and I went for a mag soul because I didn't know that I was gonna be in the party, or I would have just saved them. So rolled 7% boss there. But that's kind of why I want to reroll my secondary and emblem, is just to for the meantime get that attack now.
Yeah.
And obviously if I end up with 9 lines of attack, no one's gonna be like, even if 8 and 1 is best in slot, it's like you're never gonna re-roll that. Why would you? That's silly.
Yeah, you're most likely gonna end up with like 7 and 2, which is probably mathematically also really close, right?
Yeah, I think ideally it wants I did it on like one of the calculators, and it's like wants 3 line on the weapon because it rolls higher percentages, 3 line on the emblem, and then it wants a 40% line with 20% attack on the secondary.
Like 40-18.
Yeah. It wanted 40-21, so that's double prime, but
yeah, I mean, I bet it wants that.
Yeah, right though. Yeah, don't we all?
Sign for that, yeah. I'd love one of those. Yeah, no, I get you.
So. So I don't know. We'll see again how CubeSo goes. You never know. I could roll it in one of the 30 packs. I could not roll either. It's just kind of taking it as it goes.
Yeah, but you have the current. You have the current one to fall back on, like when it comes to secondary, so you never like completely lose everything.
I have a 3rd secondary anyway, so I'll just roll on that one. I was just throwing Meisters on it, just because you never know. Could be 1 cube.
Yeah, just in the overall, like because lots of boss damage, stacking even more with the invulnerability, there will be some diminishing returns there because you get a decent amount and you've got all the bossing fams, so that might take a little bit of pressure off as well of like really needing to change that invulnerability, because comparatively might not help as much. And if you're already doing well, then why give away that 20 meso, because it could cost a whole bunch to get it back. So in general, I would wait until totems are over, then kind of look at your rates, see what's happening. But if you're going to do any major things on the honor experience, I would probably still at least wait until you have like 2 million honor or something. So there's definitely like a little bit of a waiting period there, I would say.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking, because it's just like I rolled on the last honor event for bottom line and didn't roll anything good. I saw like one 5% abnormal damage. I probably should have kept it, but
Mm-hmm.
you know, I had like 1.2 mil on her, and I was like, yeah, you know, give it a go. See if we roll like bottom line boss or what, like unique boss or anything like that.
That's something, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you just need one lucky roll, and then.
I know that's the game is is literally one big slot machine. That's
Yeah.
like I don't know. Obviously, I've gotten on this character in particular. I've gotten pretty lucky with a lot of stuff. So it's like it's one of those things. It's like you gotta find that balance because you're gonna even out eventually, like RNG wise. Like, but who knows when that's gonna be? So you just keep spinning the wheel.
Oh, people ever saying legendary roll for normal monster damage, I guess, technically.
I guess 10% though. Yikes!
Well,
I've never even seen that line.
If Lord of the
to be
Deep can
honest.
help you, I think the line is so long that the number and stuff like falls off of the. It's like ... at the end. You have to like.
Oh, you had to hover over it. To
Yeah,
see
you have to
what
like
the
hover to actually
percentage is.
see it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Is this how it works? Let me try something. Ooh, gee, huh. Or probably with a slash, whatever. I'll do later. Okay. I feel like we're moving a little bit, like between the topics. When you circle back to like the main questions that you had, do you feel like we've made progress on those, or are we still kind of like vague?
Kind of a little bit vague on the events. Like I just you know, obviously there's no definitive yes or no, but like on my general progression path for like the two recent events, like if we have Cube Sale and if we have Shining, which are pretty likely to happen.
Yeah, very likely.
Yeah, so I'm kind of banking on those. So like going for 3 lines, like, and then maybe if I have money left over, trying to roll my top because that's my only 21% potential, and then my pants are 24, and everything else is at least 27. So, you know, but that's just kind of like those are pretty good for now, especially with the top having like secondary stat. I mean, it's kind of like it's a 22% potential, I guess, theoretically. So I'm pretty comfortable with those right now, especially because CRAs are super RNG when it comes to the lines.
Yeah, horrible
like,
rates.
More than like anything else.
If you looked up for hats, it's probably not worth at all for you, right? To even look at cooldown reduction, because I couldn't even think.
No.
I couldn't think of a single skill that you really benefit a lot from.
No, yeah.
Because you got a toggle and then like decently long cooldowns, so it wouldn't really help for either.
Wouldn't affect the final damage like that much at all. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, the main thing is getting your marks and tapping those, and then start forcing up your Sweetwater. But then once it's all 21, it's really just Oz rings and praying for 22s. But there's like one final move before that, I guess, is like fully 3-lining all your accessories, because those are relatively affordable in that.
Yeah, they're all at least 27. A lot of them are like 30 plus. Like, I think I think a couple of my rings are 27. Obviously, like that monocle could be 33 because it's kind of a fake 3-line. It's a 30%, but
yeah, but then we're talking
about like
we're talking pretty high.
We're talking about 10 bill plus to give it a good shot, like rather than even like hopefully guarantee it. But I have my rings are decent. I think my pennants are both 30 and 33. So I don't know. That's kind of why I was like thinking about going for those. Maybe the CRAs, if anything, or my boot. My boot's 27 on arcanes, so that's kind of that's like rolling a 20. That's rolling a 24 on anything else. So that's that's achievable within a reasonable amount of money, I think. But again, it's 3% stat, so it's tough, especially when I'm not like full 21. Everything else, it's like I feel like I'm like much better off star forcing those. Or giving it a good go, or like waiting for Shining, because they build up Buccaneeros and stuff too.
Yeah, that's the main thing, that overarching thing that you're saving for. The only like side projects you could do would be like, I guess, maybe trying to get higher flames on the arcanes, right? But I would mostly wait for like events and see like Eternals in a shop or something like that, and then throw those on there.
Yeah,
'Cause they
most of them are
really-
pretty decent.
Mhm.
I think the cape is, or one of them's.
Yeah, I got the extra all stat on
oh,
the
the-
on the cape, and then the glove has a
Oh,
lot
the-
of
yeah, the-
secondary. So
Yeah, the glove's like 138 or something, and the cape's like 140 something, and then the boot's a 130 on the nose. So,
Mhm.
and that's with doing 9% all stat,
Mhm.
which technically right now I should be using like 10 at least for the all stat, but I don't know. In the back of my head, it's like, what does it hurt if I shoot for a higher flame because I'm not doing higher all stat? You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, because it's not hurting anything for me to like still count it as 9. It's actually benefiting me in the long run because I could theoretically have a stronger flame than I'm really accounting for.
Mm-hmm. Could be comparatively overvaluing the attack towards the compared to the all stat though, right? Because then you're looking at like 3-1 when it's actually it's not 3-1. It's more like 3.3-1.
Yeah, that's true. I guess. Yeah.
But I mean, most situations attack is just kind of like there to sweeten the deal and not really the the main
Yeah, it's not like-
attraction
yeah.
anyway. So I got the double. There's nothing like crazy that stands out. And then drop gear wise, you're yeah, you said you were
I
at
have,
408. Yeah, so there's not
I have
much.
200% drop. Yeah, I
No.
didn't. I just didn't include that because it's a bunch of drop gear. So
Yeah.
it's like I did include my CERN gear just because it's like it needs to be a little bit higher damage and stuff to
Mhm.
show you what I'm working with, like talking about like one-shotting and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's got decent stars on it or decent base stats with the. I used all the really good event rings for that.
Mhm.
When I moved out of them. So
Yeah, I guess the one thing is that your suit or tattoo can definitely become like a drop or meso piece then as well, right? Once you get your
yeah, by
Twilight
22
mark
the
to high
Twilight.
star, yeah, that'll be a really strong
guess,
piece
yeah.
to help you killing. And then it's up to you whether you still want to 21 it there, but then for the functionality. So if you do see it needing to be that, so I don't know if you have talked to other bucks like who are like into Hotel Arcus and everything, like how strong they need to be for for Lord of the Deep to do anything, or if it's really just wait for Sacred. If there's any other way to kind of push that, then you could, maybe make an argument for 21ing it, but
Yeah, that's fair, I guess. Yeah, I actually didn't think about that. Like 20, like just leaving it at 19 and trying to 22 at Twilight. So it's actually a more reasonable upgrade rather than.
yeah, it'll also
like
feel
a
better
lateral
once you,
upgrade.
once you get the move, yeah, because then it's like, oh,
Yeah.
now also the numbers are bigger instead of just, I just have to really, really trust that 10% boss damage working,
Yeah, and then you can alleviate a little bit on the potential. You don't necessarily have to go for 30% off the bat. You can go for like 27 and be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It just stinks because I got a Twilight mark. I rolled like 117 on it. I transposed it, 19 stars the tattoo, and then I got a slime ring like the next week.
Obviously, yeah.
It's like, and it was like seriously, like really,
Perfect timing.
that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the end of the day, you gotta get the tattoo to at least 21, hopefully 22 anyway, for it to be, a good value.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, you're doing Black Mage now. If you had extra 6 levels or so, you'd be hitting that damage you need anyway, right? So it's not needed, but it definitely helps if you want to stay in the higher level areas, keep your kill speed up, all that stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, Shining Software should be absolutely massive. Not as much money there, probably. Not at least coming from the grinding, but hopefully if you keep somewhat
There should
scaling
be-
up, like do you have plans to scale up a little bit more on the boss meals, or are you kind of like saturated at this point?
Well, so right now I only have 4 or 5 other characters I boss on. The Dawn Warrior sometimes joins a Hard Luo party, but a lot of times I'll just solo Easy Lucid and everything before it.
Mm-hmm.
Wind Archer solo Slime and everything before it. The Dual Blade, the Lumi, and the Nightwalker all do Lomian and everything before. And then
Mm-hmm.
on the buck I do like Dark Knell, Gloom, like solo. I tried to solo Sea Slime and I failed, or I timed out with like 10% left, so that's tough.
He heals so
Um,
much, yeah.
I know, it's crazy. Like I was streaming it, and the dudes in the Discord said they said, yeah, we watched you Howling Fist on your mini burst, and it literally ended with higher health than you started with before you Howling Fisted. I was like, dude, really, bro? That's I'm pretty close though, so not too bad. Once I'm around the 50k stat mark.
It helps if you have a 3-minute timer though. That helps a lot. If you're 4-minute and you have to like stall a minute every time, oof, that's a rough one.
Oh yeah, you have to be like almost like, I don't know, like 1.3 times stronger on your burst and stuff like that, pretty much.
Rough,
something along those lines.
But yeah, Oz rings help.
Okay.
When you need to do that much bursting. But yeah, if you really don't want to do it, that's the thing. But like Oz rings will. Past this point where you are now, like the amount of money, the amount of time you'd have to spend to get the money to be able to upgrade. Because what you also have to realize is not only is it going to be that expensive, it's going to be way more expensive than what you've done because of how lucky you've gotten. Like getting this far with this amount of money is, I don't know, like is it like fifth percentile or something? Like yeah, like how much you're supposed to be spending or something. Yeah, because I remember spending 75 on just one arcane to get it to 21. So it's like you spent 15 more and you got everything. It's like,
I did the math on the arcanes, then just from 17 to 21 with like safeguarding and stuff like that, it's like 32 bill or 33 bill a piece. And I did them all in like 10.
Look at him giggling over here. He's so happy with his games.
Dude, it's so funny, bro. I don't know, like I just think it's because you know, you get people just talking shit, calling you a lucky dog, and I think it's funny, but I don't know. I own it though, like, you know what I mean? Like when you get lucky, you just gotta like. I mean,
what about
I'm not talking like I don't know. I'm not talking reckless, like saying like, I don't know, like talking shit on anyone else's gear or whatever. Because sometimes you feel bad when like you got people spending a buttload of money and then you know they're just booming their shit and like they don't have like it's tough to watch for sure too. You feel a little bit of like what do they call it, like survivor's guilt or something?
Guilt a little bit, yeah. I remember Asaf way back in the day. He ended up quitting. He was doing like hard lucid, hard will, and for way before most people. And I don't want to butcher the number, but I think he blew up 16 arcane gloves, and he never saw 20.
Yeah, that's.
And he boomed like a total of I think 18 items, and he just quit because it was like what are you gonna do? You know, like you're spending so much more time, so much more money than everyone else, and you're just not getting it because you're that one guy all the way on the left side of the Star Force calculator who's like booming everything and spending an average of 10 times the amount of normal, and then he came back and he tapped everything to 22 with like only 3 booms. So it's like, oh. But he needed a break from
needed an account reset. That's what he needed. Yeah, reset his seed for him.
Exactly, new seed. That was a bad.
He got a new he got a new computer and switched houses, so he got a new IP and stuff. So it's reset it for him. Perfect.
Exactly. Just switch the whole thing off, just let it rest, and then turn it back on and start over. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the part that I remember you saying one time, like, you know, talking about like how you can play the game and stuff, and I always considered myself like I grind the game a lot, but I don't really care like where I get to. But like with just how lucky I've gotten, it's like, and with like, you know, I have friends and stuff who've let me in their Luo parties and, you know, stuff like that. So like you get that help, especially like early on and stuff, until you can like fully contribute and whatnot. You know, that stuff definitely helps. So I've been like super fortunate in 4 months to be able to start Black Mage, like, and be able to contribute sometime next month like a decent amount of damage or a reasonable amount of damage. So
yeah, now the final damage reduction is still pretty massive, right?
Yeah, so next level I'll be doing about 60 bill a second on a 3-minute BA.
Okay.
But hopefully I'm around 268 by the time we actually do our first clear, so I'll be like 75, 80, maybe somewhere around there, depending. You know,
I still have 2 bodies at level 275. Those are just rough to get to.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
But by the time you get to like the 3rd or the 4th clear, you know, everyone's going to be up at that point. Because I remember for our party as well, we were like kind of struggling in the beginning, and then our last clear was like just 2 people or I think only one person bursting and everyone else just like randomly attacking for phase 1 to clear it, and then everyone bursting in phase 2 and then basically nuking phase 2, and then immediately getting into phase 3, waiting for the domain again, and then one burst, and then I think that was 2 bursts, and then into phase 4, and it's like what it was, like a 12-minute run or something. But if you compare that to like the first few runs, it's like huge difference. But yeah, all the destiny changes and people get so much stronger in that whole time frame if people keep playing. It's insane. Everyone was we have one person at 270, right? Bren was at 270, and everyone else was 280 at that point. So you get bonus final damage, right?
Yep. So and you can use Cadena Link and whatnot.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, that's why I think we had 2 of us try to get to 276 right for our first clear, just so we could get the Cadena Link to go on and a little bit extra final damage. So we had like 276 for our first clears, and then we ended with 5 280s who had been there for a while, because there wasn't really a drive to push past 280. But now there probably will be. We got Odium, so you're gonna get another symbol for the people who had 275, so you get more stat from that. So slightly more power creep, but the leveling past 275 is gonna be rough now without totems for sure.
Yeah, depending on the class, because a lot of classes, like, it's tough to find a map to be able to clear fully, like, on totem for the totem to really even give you that much value,
Mm-hmm.
Because odds are you're going to be going to a smaller map to be able to clear the whole map, but then like you're losing those extra mobs you could have got on the larger map anyway if you have decent movement. That's kind of the issue with like where I'm at with totems, but it's also kind of a blessing with the removal, because it's like I did a totem in the one library, and I actually got less EXP than the Gauls. Like, I got probably around the same that I would get like off totem, just because the burn's higher and there's a lot more mobs on the map. And then I do my totems in the Gauls, and really is only increasing my rates by like 20%. Like not like 20% EXP, but like Meso wise, like 20% higher Meso, like and like like it's not like that substantial where I really where I'm like super like bent out of shape about it. So that's a bit of a blessing for sure. A little bit of a weight off your shoulders, where everyone else is like thinking the game's over because they can't because they can't level fast enough and stuff. I don't know. To be fair, for me as well, I don't feel as much the need to really be at the end game, because then there's a pressure to stay there, of course, which is rough, but also there's so much less stuff that's really challenging, and the challenging stuff that is left is way more challenging than everything else. So there's like a lot of eyes on like, hey, do the thing. So I kind of like not being quite there, so that people also don't expect you to be doing that stuff, because a lot of it is it gets tricky. I don't know if you've seen like Saren runs and everything, but it gets pretty yikes. Yeah.
Until you just get enough damage, and then like the first Kalos clear, right? It was just like nuke, hold, and then wait for cooldowns to come back, go next phase, nuke, hold, nuke, hold, nuke, hold, and then just don't die, and then that's it. It's a little weird seeing the boss being done like that, but you gotta do what you gotta do. I don't know if you remember the first Black Mage clears. It was like, I think every single party was like a Bishop, a Shade, and a Kana, and then 3 attackers. Like phase 3 was everyone sitting in the left corner, and then the Shade trying to basically just keep the boss on the right side and not dying. And then whenever it was ready to domain, like everyone goes over there, Benediction, domain, and then Night Lords bursting in Currings basically, and then roars to try to nuke him down, and then hide again in the left corner. But then as people got better with the DPS strat or whatever they wanted to call it, like it just made way more sense. I mean, I guess we're segueing a little bit into the Black Mage. How do you feel like that's been going?
So definitely when they told me to stop using my my burst for burst, right? Just use it for iframes. Yeah, like the survivability just went through the roof. Like I instantly was getting to P3 with a lot more lives and stuff like that. Just getting like I'm a pretty hands-on learner, so it's every run I'm gonna get exponentially better, and I have like full confidence in that. Like obviously there's always stuff you can work on, but just with getting those clears and then sleeping on it and then going back in and then it's almost like every time you go in the boss slows down a little bit, because you're just used to the reaction times and stuff. So like on our last clear I got to P3 with 12 lives, so that was huge, and then I got to P4 with like 4 lives, so it's
Yep.
surviving isn't too bad. You know, I definitely got to learn P4 because I got absolutely bullied.
I knew,
even though that's
yeah.
like one of the easier phases.
No,
it's just
that's the worst part, because everyone's like, oh, part 4 is so easy. Like once you get past part 3, it's like free, and that puts, for me, that put a lot of pressure onto 4, because I was like, dude, I don't know how I'm gonna do 4 yet. But everyone's already like looking at you like, oh, you're already home free. So then you get even more panicky, because it's like everything I do wrong is probably gonna look even worse, right? And
yeah. Yeah, I was just like jumping into the balls and stuff, and
yeah, we saw you dashing, and everyone was like,
happening.
oh. Well, so the thing is with phase 4 is that there will just be, you just have to kind of imagine that at any moment he could just release like a flurry of balls, and you can always tank like 3 or 4 is not a big deal. But if there's an explosion and there's a few of those balls, because those explosions can show up at any time as well, right? So
Yeah.
those things combined can be pretty scary. But if you get close to him, you're immediately hit by them. And there's also, I mean, Noah calls it the shotgun, but there's like a scatter shot of them, right? There's like 6 of them or so at a time, and there's like a few bunches of them. So ideally you want to stay like close enough so you can hit your skills, but also so that when really a lot of those balls are coming out, you can just slowly tap backwards so that all of them just go into the floor and none of them really hit you. Because what happens if you start back and you try to go closer to dodge them, then you have to like duck underneath, and then stuff can, you know, that's harder. That gives you less space to move. Plus you have to go up, but then you have to like, you know, that's always a backup. So if you start closer and then go further away, and then you can always still like up jump and blink, you know, so to make sure that nothing hits you. That'll give you more space. But the downside for you, of course, is like Lord of the Deep is really hard to commit damage to there, so you're gonna rely more on your teammates to do good damage there.
Yeah, that's the thing I was kind of struggling with, because I mean, at the end of the day, it's just practice. So I am face checking stuff and trying to get, because like it's hard to explain with, it's like hard for someone to explain to you without you actually getting into it. But you know, trying to get a good positioning on where I feel comfortable on the boss, where I can move back and forth without like being too far away or being too close. So that's just going to come with more of us getting into P4 and being able to get more damage off and stuff. And you know, with Aqua and Paul, it's, you know, they're obviously a lot more comfortable and they do a boatload of damage. So I do have, as long as they get in there with a decent amount of lives, I have the luxury of stay dead a little longer and not worry too much.
Yeah, not as much pressure on you. One thing I got a lot as feedback, and I still had to kind of like learn it the hard way, but I saw you do a little bit, is that you're jumping a lot. And I get it that you're like, because of the lasers, right? You don't want to get hit by the lasers. But what happens when you jump is you're very vulnerable for kicks.
Yeah, I was trying to time that for sure. With like,
Let's see what
I mean, it's tough because
the later one.
Here, I can send you a link to my VOD. That's the last run.
Because what it mainly is like the priorities, right? Is like which thing is more scary. And if you're jumping for a blue laser, but that puts you even a little bit at more danger of getting kicked, then it's not worth it. You just need to tank the blue laser there, right?
Yeah, that's actually something I was talking about with like I think like Kalmar and stuff. Because a lot of times I'll duck under the lasers. I know that can cause supers, so it's one of those things where you gotta, you know, find the fine line. But sorry, I'm watching I watched the video, so I totally
so
that.
fast, yeah.
Yeah.
Starting to burst at like
and
37.
We're just gonna keep getting stronger and stuff too, which is nice. So, and these are already like, I'm already doing a little bit of damage to these guys just because of you know, the level's not too bad.
Yep. Yeah, staying away from the white one here. White one dashing is very spooky, but yeah, that's really fast, so nothing really to worry about.
Oh yeah, just talking about tanking blue lasers, that's definitely gonna be something I'm gonna practice in our next runs. Because they only do like what, 10%? So
yeah, healing fams just take care of that. Of course, if you're constantly black cursed, then the healing gets reduced from other sources.
Do healing fams go through Black Curse?
Dude, you asked this now. I trust them. Okay, I put my life in their hands. I believe they do. I think it's just the healing, the potions themselves that don't
just
work.
Potions, yeah.
But the fam should, right? Yeah. Okay.
I've been wearing 2 healing fams just for survivability. I have like 37% party on them and 52% self. So just off the 2. So I'm kind of chilling on that. But you know, some situations you kind of get.
Yeah.
Definitely tank a little bit more damage.
Just walking through. Yeah, you can see here. Maybe you get some healing fam. So the one thing, I don't know if you manually healed here or not, but the one thing is that you get so used to the fact that you can't heal because you always have black curse, but sometimes you don't have any curse on, and you can actually just heal, right? Like right here, you're going into the corner, and like now the curse is gone. But you could just use a potion here, right? You can just fill up your HP, and like the sooner you heal, the sooner the cooldown for the potions is gone again, and you can heal again after that, right? And you just have to remind yourself, like, oh, you can use potions sometimes. And then sometimes the curse is supposed to last 4 seconds, and it's there for like 12, and it just keeps blinking, and you just get fucked, and that happens. But sometimes it actually ends on time, and then you can take advantage of that. But I don't know if a healing fam... Do you have your potions on the bottom right? Can we check if you pot... Oh, you have potion pot, so...
Yeah, it doesn't go on cooldown, I know. Well, I have it on auto buff or auto potion on my pets, which some people don't agree with, but yeah, that was definitely, that wasn't my fams, that was a potion that went off there.
Oh, it was potion, okay. It was, I mean, it's pretty soon. It was just like a small thing that noticed, and then here bursting,
Yeah. Basically, with my burst, I've just been popping Lightning Form, Stimulating Conversation, Maple Goddess Blessing, and then whatever the 10% damage skill that like everyone gets. I pop all those at the same time, and then for 80 seconds, I have the opportunity to use all 3 of those orbs as iframes. So I just wait until I have to, or until it's like, this is just a good enough spot to warrant an iframe, so I don't take a curse or whatever. And then with Howling Fist, I try to pop. I pop Overdrive if I can, like right there I didn't, but I try to pop Overdrive and then and then like I'll wait to use Howling Fist, so hopefully it goes off during the Overdrive. So
I think in this situation, like, because the Howling Fist is also a decent amount of damage, right? Like in this situation, I think I would just use a will skill and just dash through this shit.
Okay.
Because they're not going to hit that hard. And with the will skill, you're not going to take the curse. And then by the time you land, the black curse is going to be gone as well, right? Yeah, like here, the black curse is going to be gone as well. So then you'll be curseless. And then you still... Because I don't know, how much of the howling is dependent on you charging? Do you charge it?
If I'm doing like a boss fight where you're binding and stuff, you do the first animation where it does like an orb in the front of it and it kind of charges. I do use that because it is more damage than like Octopunch or Spammy or Vortex. But the like 90 or 80% of the damage comes from the second phase of it. It's like 250 something hits. It's ridiculous. It's like a ridiculous amount of hits.
But it doesn't do like more damage on the last part if you charge longer.
No.
Okay, yeah. Because some skills work like that. Like the arc skill is very similar, but the arc skill does work like that. So if you do very short charge and then you don't hit nearly like full of your damage. So it sucks a little bit. But that's just like another option I see because it's a very short phase, and the boss fight is not that long, and you do have the time lead, right? So you will be able to get it back as well before you really need it again. But I don't know if it makes a huge difference to use your skill here in the corner as the iframe, or if using it like right on top of him would have made like a whole lot of difference. And you know that better.
Well, like the hitbox is pretty big forward wise. Like backwards hitbox on Howling Fist isn't huge, but like directional facing hitbox is really, really big. So like I can hit him with the second part of it, like all right there. So it's kind of like I could have saved it for sure and used will skill there, but I just saw so much stuff coming at me. It's
no, it's better to use it there and then be safe than to like try to style it and then die.
Yeah. Oh, well, and something that I also I do that every time. I always forget the second part. I do it every time.
I've died to it a few times. Yeah, you're like, oh, we're good. I'm safe, and then just jump into it. You're like, oh, wait, never mind. So here, as soon as you see this shield, this silver, you can go through it. You can go attack.
Oh, so like right now. Okay, wow.
Yeah, so now, even if this shit is still on the screen, you could already jump through it.
Oh, okay.
The same thing for phase 3. I don't know if anyone else has said that. Like when you have the up, right, and you're like up in the air, and you don't know when the thing on the bottom only it like ticks damage sometimes, right? It's not continuous damage, so sometimes you'll accidentally fall onto it and you won't die at all.
Yeah, I survived one of those. Like I didn't have blink, and I kept just jumping up and down.
Yeah, you could survive.
I was like screwed, and I didn't die from it. And I was like, oh,
lucker dog.
Nice. Yeah, lucker dog.
But like
defense form OP.
It's the same thing for that phase. As soon as you see the shield, you want to like jump down because you know you can't die anymore to that skill. But also that way you can get down before the platforms explode, so you don't get a curse from the platforms. Yeah.
Yeah, that's something that's definitely I'm gonna need to practice in the next set of practices we do, because I was doing that and I didn't understand the like just the whole mechanic behind like when the explosion actually happens and then when it actually is gonna hit you, because like obviously the animation starts and it's not really doing anything yet, but you know you have that split second to jump down. So sometimes I wasn't getting cursed, sometimes I was. When I did do that though, even if I didn't get cursed, like I just out of like habit, I was just popping will skill to get back close to him just in case I got kicked.
Oh, that was a spooky dash here, I think. It's like here, what I would do, so you see that the chains are gonna like stop, right? Like this is the last chain, and you see that this one is red, then you know that this is gonna be a safe spot right after it fires, so you can just be standing here where I think this is Paul, but he has got like a new outfit, right?
Yeah, that's Paul.
And then you could have just stood here, but now you dash here, which is a little spooky because I think you could barely see the edge, but there could be a sword here.
It could have been a spike there. Yeah, I remember that one, and I was like, oh, I just got super lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for sure. Because I could have hit the ground and just corkscrewed, and I would have been perfect where that other one was.
Yeah, and that's more what I want. I don't know what other Buccaneers do. I wonder to which extent you want to use corkscrew instead to kind of move around and dodge, or if you need to flash jump for the distance.
I learned this strat from a Xenon. Like if you could tell, like how I'm just bouncing while like dodging the chains. Obviously, you got to get better at it, but I watched a Xenon do it, and that's what he was doing. He was doing it forward, but same concept. I like doing it backwards because I just feel like the movement's a little better.
But it depends on the angle, right? Whether you go forward or backwards should kind of depend on the angle that the chain is coming from. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. But then it makes it tough to corkscrew because you're in the air. So sometimes I just vortex.
Yeah, that's like the upside is like when it's going well, it can go very well. But then the downside is if you need to do something else quick, you have to wait until you land. And that makes it I think that makes it work in phase 2 way better, but makes it really spooky or super spooky, right? And you definitely don't want to be doing it in phase 3 because then all you need is like one bad kick, boom, to the side, laser, 2 lives gone. It can go really quick that way.
Yeah. Just getting in more time in P3, I think, is, you know, I'm definitely getting a little more comfortable with staying on the boss. You're going to see, like, there's some scenarios where I'm just being a dumbass and not really, really doing what I'm supposed to for sure. Like, but it's just more time gets you more comfortable with, like, realizing, like, as long as you're ducking, the boss isn't doing anything to you.
Where is he coming from?
Oh, Jay iframe there. I was watching everyone else's POVs to see, like, you know, if I could pick anything up. And I watched Jay's, and he abyssaled right there, and then dashed, and I didn't even know. Like, I was like,
wait, was he still in Abyssal?
Oh, he can't. He like canceled Abyssal, and then did the dash thing over.
Why could you
like,
just stay in Abyssal and do damage there? Because you could just do damage during this if you're in Abyssal. I mean, I did that on my arc. I would just stay in the middle, and to like go to the side, I just stay in the middle and do Abyssal, and then by the time Abyssal is done, this phase is done as well. You could just keep attacking.
Yeah, I'm not too sure if he knows that or not. I'll definitely tell him that gets long enough to stay in there.
Because it's pretty quick, right? And as soon as that shield that pops up way faster than you think. Like right now, you can already jump in, even though it looks like it's still very much death everywhere. But at this point, you can already jump back in now. Also, I saw
That's definitely
you
good
get.
to know.
I think you over respect the eyes a little bit. And since you get damage from proximity, you might do with just not giving the eyes too much respect. Ooh, that was just in time.
Did they give Black Curse?
Yeah, Black Curse. Yeah.
Okay. So I can tank them in this. Okay.
Yeah, they just do
I
like
don't
if
know
you
why I
stand
thought
right
they'd
in
give
them,
white.
they do a lot of damage though. So that's mainly why you don't want to like stand right in them like the whole time. Like they're mainly scary if you have like middle, right? And then two of them are like floating, and if two of them are on top of you while you're trying to burst there, it's almost impossible to survive without some kind of heal and some kind of iframe stuff going on because it's a lot of damage. Yeah, so right here, you guys are allowed to like float around in the corner because they're picking the Black Mage up, right? Because if they would also be doing what you guys are doing, then the Black Mage is already in the corner, and you already have to go back to the left to reset him.
Reset it. Okay, yeah.
Because like in the beginning, you like immediately you want to go to the right, and then actually you want to wait until he's like underneath. Oh god, I think this spot is like, you see this orangey thing, right? This this orangey swirl.
Like the galaxy looking.
Yeah, and it's like right underneath. It's like somewhere here is like the line where you kind of want to have him. See, yeah. So let's see, that's where Paul and they catch him. So as soon as you see that he's like done this kick, you could just flash jump over this thing and just be standing here with them, right?
Okay. Can you if you blink and get kicked, does it like throw you out of your blink?
Oh god, we tried to investigate this stuff because there's a few different situations.
Because if so, I'll just blink on the boss. Like I know Paul has like a weird like float thing that's part of his class.
Yeah, I think you fall. There's one. I remember there's like different layers of super stands, because I believe if I float, if I blink on my arc, I would just get hit and I'd be like stunned in the air.
Okay.
But if I wasn't in my super stance form and in my regular, then I would fall.
All right.
I believe.
I mean, it's worth a go for one of the practice runs. If I find the situation to do it in, it's not like, you know, that's what they're for, testing out stuff that might make you survive.
I practiced it in Lotus because you could do like the Lotus pushback. You can test that one, right? You could just like blink in front of him, like in the air, and then see if you get pushed back or if you fall or not. You can use that for practice to confirm. I might have to just do it again as well, just to make sure. Because I just remember that sometimes you would just get stunned and nothing would happen, and sometimes you would actually fall. And I think it depended on whether, for my arc, whether I was in the knockdown resistance, so like what Jay's in here, or if I was in, if you have the high percent, of course, or if I was just regular Flora form, then it would respond differently. But this is like the main thing, and this is very normal. Like when our run started as well, you see like the people with experience are standing right underneath the boss, and the people without experience are still like in the air, like really respecting the skills way too hard.
Yeah.
And yeah, and that's totally normal. Because in the beginning, yeah, you go to the right, make sure he's not standing underneath the rollings, and then as soon as the rollings happen, you kind of look at the pattern. So you see that the one that landed here is going the other way. So that means that at most you're going to get like 4, but probably like only 3 or 2, right? And then you're familiar with the hitbox of the rolling?
You can flash jump over it, right?
Yeah, it's really like this front, like this circle here. That's like the hitbox.
Okay.
So basically, where the dusk is standing, like if you kind of imagine like an orb around the dusk, that's basically the hitbox. And then all of this whatever pink fluffy cloud behind it, that's all pretty safe. So make sure you jump over like that early part. But then you're pretty free, because now you see that he did a kick, so actually you're just free to go in at this point because you know you have like 3 seconds. Okay. You see, and that's where the second kick is, and you see Kolomar go in because of the delay. He might have gone in. He probably went in at the right time, but it looks like he went in at a little bit of a spooky time, because now all you've got is blue lasers and there's nothing else spooky. But if everyone did that, he would already be here. And now you'll be fucked, because then it's like really hard to get him to the left, because then sometimes he aggroes on the familiars, right? And then the familiars are just like jumping on his dick, and and he doesn't want to move, and then
Yeah, I think tanking blue lasers is going to help a lot with like just being a little more comfortable on the boss, because like I don't know. They definitely like seem like they're gonna do more. But even pink ones, like I have decent healing fams and stuff. Like as long as I know I'm like decent HP, I can still tank those as well.
Yeah, even 2 supers. If you're full HP, you'll be able to tank 2 supers at the same time. I think there was the matter. I don't know if it's still a thing, but like if you had even HP, you could die to 2 supers. But if you had odd HP, you could survive 2 supers with 1 HP. But you have odd HP.
That's what they said.
Yeah, so you're still good
Hopefully
on that.
I stay odd HP. I don't know how that works, but hopefully I stayed odd. Heck. Yeah, see, like right there, I could have definitely jumped down when the blues came, and it really wouldn't have mattered. And I would have been on the boss a lot quicker. Okay.
Yeah, you're ducking, doing good damage here. It's good timing.
In the Buck Discord, they said once you get really good, you can get 5 octo punches in.
5? Wow.
5, yeah. It's only for GMS because of the attack speed and stuff, but yeah, you can get 5 octo punches in 1 kick. I'm assuming too, if you have bad ping, that's also not the case either, though.
You're a fast boy. So here, yeah, so here you see the shield, right? As soon as you see this, and I think someone on the side.
So as soon as I see like the,
yeah, I see.
As soon as I see like the plats like do that green animation, I can just instantly jump down.
Yeah.
So is he gonna? Could he ever kick right here? Is that like something? Like.
Yeah, he animation cancels his kick sometime, or like start it up and do another skill, then you get kicked without really seeing the animation. But that's such an exception that once you got like a control over all the other mechanics, right? That's allowed to happen. And if you get fucked by that, like it's not a big deal. It's just a thing that happens. But here he could kick, but if you go off the right side like Mirio's doing, you'll never get hit because you're like way out of range. But you see, like, timing-wise, you want to be where Paul is right now, because Paul is already ready to go in and to catch him, so he doesn't walk all the way to the right again, right? Because the longer you wait here, the more he moves to the right every time, and then you can't...
and then you got to reset more, yeah.
Yeah, because then you can't run to the right anymore, because then you will get kicked. Because if he starts, like, here, and there's rolling, and you go to the right, he's going to catch up to you, and he's going to kick you out of the air, and then you fall, curses, all of that shit happens. Yeah. So it's all about, like, catching him in time. Yeah, so now they've caught him. Now they've got the aggro. Okay, spooky jump in, but you did duck there. And now you know stuff is coming. Blinking up
duck there, and then... Oh, I iframed that, and then blinked over it.
This is a, elegant solution for a... That's an elegant problem. You see Mirio getting kicked. You move a little bit to the side. Yeah, now you see the suck, so you know kick is most likely coming right after. So that you see that animation, right? That's the supers, right? So these are supers that have nothing to do with being out of range or whatever. These just happen sometimes. So that's, I don't know if you saw that indicator before. So he starts like glowing a little bit like this. Like that means that supers are coming. These are usually not too bad. Like these have usually pretty forgiving patterns. Like there's usually like major gaps. But if you were, in this situation, it'd be yikes. But that also means that he's doing something else, so you can just walk through without the fear of kick. So that was a good timing on that.
He did kick there, I think, right before the whites hit. I think he kicked.
Oh yeah, there he did. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's a pretty short. He's just like sparkling for like a second, I think.
That's something that like helped me out a lot. Is like just getting comfortable with like. Because Noah gave us like a checklist of like dodge these first, and kick is number 1, obviously.
Yep.
So
it's so much more important.
Like I really focused on that in the fight, and like just dodging the kick, and then really worrying about whatever's next. That definitely helped a lot.
Yeah, that's because kick, most of the times, kick it leads to 2 deaths, and honestly, once you get really really good, as soon as you get kicked, the response should be to press your will skill, because a lot of times a laser will just go right where you're going to be kicked back to, and then you just don't take that curse, and then you just don't die at all. Instead, usually you die twice, because now you just take damage, but you don't take bonus damage. You can probably survive it, right? And you don't lose those double.
Yeah. And I think what I was doing a lot was if I got hit with something, like if I got hit with a laser or whatever it is to give me do the balls give you white curse that fall from the top, and then lasers give you black, and kick gives you white as well? Yes?
Yep.
I think?
Yep.
Okay.
And the rolling is white,
Rolling is white as well. Okay, so those
Meatballs is
are. I guess
white,
I can
yeah.
tank those. So it's really only lasers that give you black in P2, and then like when the platforms break.
The angels as well. So the little blue things that like fly around sometimes.
Oh yeah, yeah,
those
yeah.
Give,
I
those
definitely
give
died
black
to
well,
those as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes, sometimes in phase 3 you just want to be white cursed, and then you could just get hit by all the white stuff. As long as you can dodge the lasers properly, then that can be okay for a little bit as well, but
yeah,
only for a little bit. You don't want to get too spooky with that.
I think just because like just for like sake of getting like possibly getting kicked, I think what I would do is if I got hit by a laser, that's when I would pop my will skill. Like before I went back to the boss, like just in case I did tank a kick or whatever.
I think here would be a good place to use your will, because look how far he is to the right. Now you see that the platform actually isn't safe. What you can do here, but the timing is, garbage, is if you get there a little bit earlier, you could up jump, right, and then over the kick, so you don't get hit. But now you're getting like slapped down. But now you have white, so you could have stayed down. Actually, that would have been safer. Because you have white curse, and these things are white. So you could have actually just stand in the corner and tank them. But instead now the laser does way more damage, and you lose that life. And now you're sealed. But you see you stay in the air, which is interesting because you're sealed, but your blink stays. Ooh, and then you fall right into that one. That's unfortunate. And now it's up. And now...
I will skilled right there, I think. Maybe, I don't even know.
This was on cooldown before, but now you have the other one left. Now this is a spooky situation. I'll see what you do. Because I see a kick coming, and you look like in an animation and a black curse. Will you iframe this one?
Oh.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I Howling Fisted that. The problem with Howling Fist is like it's only P2 of it is iframe, so it's really
You have to start it in time, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's really annoying.
You guys
to try to actually. Yeah.
Because now you see that there was 2 situations back to back where you couldn't safely dodge to the right, and then you know for sure that you have to reset. I think you're catching him a little early.
Yeah, I got a little scuffed there, and I think I have to stay on the side for a while just because, like, the rollings and stuff.
Yeah, now he's in a good spot, yeah. Now he's split.
Like, I think that was worth, because I probably would have taken a cursed death if I jumped in any sooner than that.
Yeah, it's better to be safe than sorry there. Just maybe even wait till someone just says kick, and then you can know you can go right after it kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because the map is just big enough to make for like dumb stuff like that to happen. But you're definitely doing a lot better here with the dodging. Because I saw like the first 2 runs you're getting kicked quite a bit, but now it's a lot better. And now supers are coming. Yeah, you get underneath that. Super. Yeah, nice. Now it's down. Ooh, clean. Didn't even have to iframe.
Yeah, I like John. He was doing sucks.
Yeah,
That was super stressful.
It was like a wind tunnel.
Yeah, I died to splash damage from the down FMA twice, I think. Cause like there's like 3 or 4 of them that all hit, like they all clip the right side of the platform and then they fall through because it's not the actual hitbox, it's just a splash hitbox.
From the
and then
ground,
and then I got hit by like 4 of them and insta die, and it's ridiculous. So I think I'm gonna try to save, because I was using Howling Fist for up and down FMA just so I had more time to get on a platform for up, but I can just blink. So I should probably just start to try to save that for only down FMA and just always use it for down FMA. Because odds of us getting 2 down FMAs is like, it's possible, but like, a lot of times.
We had it all the time because we had a Max, right, on his AB, so he only had 2-minute cooldown. So we just had we had a lot of times like 3 or 4 downs back to back. So we just like free 2 or 3 lives taken every time, like nothing he could do.
Yeah.
So here there's
in general to do that.
There's a sequence where I think here you're like greeting a little bit too much damage. I think when and then you lose, right, because it's a double curse, and then you go right back in and then get kicked right again because you're like kind of out of your flow, and then I'm not sure why, but then you use your iframe here for damage. Feels like a little bit of a rage moment.
I just panicked because I was getting kicked.
It's like a little bit of panicky
stuff, and I was like, all right. Yeah.
This will happen when you don't do very well, and then you do well for a while, and you're like, oh shit, I've got it, and then you lose it, and then you're like, oh no shit, I'm actually really bad still, and then you kind of get into that panicky mode. But it's good to just like just recoup, because that's the downside, right? You can lose lives without actually dying.
Yeah.
But right there,
Yeah.
it's okay if everyone is on top of the boss to regroup and be like, okay, you can stand there outside of the thing. You just don't want to be popping like your burst and everything, because that as well, right? You use the skill outside of the orb as well, or did you? Were you right in it? This might count, but there's also damage lost, right? If you're too far away outside of the orb.
Oh, okay.
That's why you really want to stand like on top of him. So this may have counted, but we have to look at the damage lines.
That doesn't look like that definitely didn't count. Oh, maybe. Okay, I think at the end of it did, because I jumped into the bubble, but at the start it was not counting. Yeah.
There's some, you can see some 300s, and then you see some bills. So there might have been some damage reduction to it as well. Yeah. And now it's also on cooldown. If the next FMA, you might want to use it instead, right?
I do have lightning form up as well, but it's really hard to. You kind of gotta have some free time, and then you can pop I usually pop the lightning form and then like the stimulating conversation in between a kick, and then I wait, and then I'll pop the last two skills.
Yeah, that's really juicy that you have that. Ooh, oh man, you dodged it, and then you walked back into it. Like see here, see here, you had it if you stay there on the left, but then this is one of those that also gives black curse, right? So now you're also sealed, so now you have to be careful with that. Yeah,
getting used to actually dodging those is kind of like.
Yeah, they kind of flow.
That's one thing I gotta work.
They're really annoying. Everything else is quite fast, and they're kind of like they're like mosquitoes, just.
Gotta hit the mosquito daily.
Yeah. Yeah. So here you see the shield. Boom! You could already fall. Okay. Cool, Mara, and you synchronized fallen. He's a little far to the left. Ah, yeah, you dashed. Wait, what did you get the curse from here?
I don't.
This platform. There's one platform that's really low, and you have to either duck underneath this one or just not be under it at all. If you duck this one, you dodge this, but you got hit by that and a guardian right at the same time. This is a wrong place, wrong time. Yeah, this thing here.
Platform a white? That's a white curse?
Yeah.
Oh, that'll do it then.
Yeah. And then this one is a black, so those just hit you right at the same time.
Yeah.
Like right here, you could just walk into that, right? Like there's a bunch. You're iframing it as well, but like these are just normal lasers. Bam, just walk into those. Who cares?
Yeah. That's definitely going to be like the main thing I work on, is probably just not worrying about the normal lasers as much, because the thing is, like, with even though they black curse, as long as you're staying consistent with the kicks and not being an idiot with that, you really shouldn't die to it anyway. So
you got so lucky there.
Dude, I got
you got launched through all those lasers and none of them hit you. And that's what I said, like with the jumping, right? It's like one bad jump at the wrong time, and you're on the other side of the map.
You're across the map, yeah. That was crazy.
Yeah, sometimes lucky. Lucker dog again. Oh, yeah, okay, here again, right? You've got the blue laser. You try to dodge it. Just duck in this laser and just take it, because this is not worth it. Boom, and then it's such a shame, because you were doing really well, but then all you have is like a few weird things here, there, and then you're going from like having 12 lives to like suddenly like, oh shit, I'm down to my like last 5 or 6.
I think it's just gonna be like staying consistent with knowing like, okay, I can eat this and I'll stay in this curse, but as long as I don't eat any kicks and as long as I don't eat any like platforms or white balls, like it doesn't, like I'm fine. I can take.
Your howling was like. Here, your howling is up. It just came off cooldown.
Yeah, but like right there, if I could have survived if I stayed closer to the left, but that's just something that's like, it's so hard to really get a good visualization of like where they're all coming down at, and then there's like knowing that there's gonna be like 4 or 5 of them on the right there, and then just walking a little to the left, like I wouldn't have died there.
But this is also the howling that's on longer cooldown because you used it before there, right?
Yeah.
If you hadn't used it there, you would have been 100% up here, and then it would have been free staying alive. And now it kind of gets you into the pattern of like, oh, I died to this, I'm dying to everything, and then your mental can kind of start getting fucked.
Yeah, that happened on the last run of our first day. I just griefed super hard because I was just like...
Dude, first day is grief day, man. Like, I hit it so hard, like the first 10 runs, man. Yeah. Now you're just chilling, you're kind of looking at, okay, do I need to pop some buffs? Yeah. That's good too. I mean, that's why you have practice runs, right? And you have one person. Yeah, Miria's out. Kolomara and Invoker are 1 life. And to be fair, like you're like 4 people, right? Within the 4 people who are new, you're definitely like, at least survivability wise, you're doing the best there.
Yeah, Kalamar does pretty well because he has Dark Sight for some of the stuff. As long as he uses it at the right times, he does really, really well too. He had a little bit of an off day second day. Yeah, he has 2 iframes as well. Yeah.
Yeah, in the beginning is when you can really have like really good days and then really bad days, but you just get more consistent over time.
So do rollings give you white curse?
Yeah, rolling is white. Yeah.
Okay, so anything falling from the sky except for the dot. See, that's the tough part. Is like I'm trying to keep track of like what's getting what curses.
Yeah.
Like that's just gonna be a memory thing over time, so it won't be too bad.
Yeah, for me, it's pretty intuitive in the sense that I usually look at the things that are just very light colored, that have some lighter aspects to them, tend to be the white curse. So like he's completely white, you know, like the meatballs have like the white shrouds around them. And then the rollings, at least compared to the lasers, I see them as more light. I don't know, maybe that's just cope.
Yeah.
Because that's just how it's planted in my brain.
Yeah. I just think it's going to be memorizing those, especially in P3, like knowing what I can tank all the time, like trying to stay in. I mean, obviously, you ideally don't want to be Black Curse because you can't heal and whatnot, but I think my healing fams are good enough, and you don't really take. There's not a ton of stuff to tank. Like in P2, you just tank chains all the time. Like it kind of sucks if you are in Black Curse for that.
Like here again, right? Because you take the white curse here, and then you see the rollings and you run away. No, you can just, I mean, you could just jump over them, right? But jump as in like just a regular little up jump or something is good.
Yeah, take like 1 tick of them maybe or whatever.
It's a good move not to jump to the left though, right? Because this is also why you don't want him so far to the right, is because the little angels, they can like hide behind them and they can suddenly like come out of nowhere. Because if you had, because you could have seen like, oh, I could have jumped to the left, you know, like over the rolling. Because like, oh, it could be safe, and then suddenly this guy, this would have been alive right here. Like he would have hit you. You would jump right into him, and then you still die. So up is definitely the play here, though. You see, like, you know, this is Aqua's doing as well, but he's like going down again. Because as soon as you go to the ground again, you can choose to go up again and blink again if you want to. But if you're in the air longer, then you kind of like, ooh, especially when he's so close, you can get kicked again, right? Spooky. Ooh, good dodge there. Now you're just tanking black, that's fine. Don't tank the reverse, but this is all black, so you can tank all of that. I guess you're waiting for the callouts here to see if it's safe to go back. Supers again, which is not bad.
I was kind of just waiting for them to say like it's in a good spot.
Yeah, now it's kind of hectic because people are dying out.
Yeah.
It's down. Are you getting kicked? Ooh, yeah. Oh, your iframe ball still goes up.
Yeah, stuff like that too. It's like, bro, you've got to be trolling.
You're like dead, and all of the dust settles, and then your ball's like, "Hey, I'm helping." It's like, okay, you're a little bit too late there, bro. Where were you 1 second earlier, and I would have been okay. Ugh, that's unfortunate. You keep your charges though, right? If you res, you keep those.
Yeah.
Those balls, yeah.
As long as you got a buff freezer.
Oh yeah, okay. I think those are free here. Yeah, so now he's too far to the right, right? He's not in a good position. They're still attacking because they're okay with dodging there. But if it was with the other ones, they should probably reset because he's a little bit stuck now.
Yeah, easier to get kicked on the right when you try to dodge for like rollings and stuff.
Yeah, see right now. See, it immediately happened there because as soon as he retargets, boom, he just moves a little bit more. And you see Paul is sealed as well. Not a good time. And then suck. He's slightly moving to the left, so that's good. Okay, supers.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is just tanking blue lasers. Because it seems like rewatching it back, like, and it felt I was pretty comfortable with the kick, especially getting like 3 to 4 howling fists and like trying to pop part of my that's so I framed that hog.
Yeah, again, use the will skill there, but you had white and you were falling into white.
Yeah.
So
So,
you didn't
yeah,
have to yet,
that's-
but it's more like something's going on. Let me just at least press that so nothing crazy goes up.
so I don't die. So I don't double die. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the tough
exactly.
part.
I mean, and they were both off cooldown, so I mean, it's better to use one and not need it than to just
Yeah.
sit on it the whole run. That's also true. So it's not the end of the world. But now, if you get more accustomed to like what color is everything exactly, and
Mm-hmm.
as soon as you know your color, you know what you got hit. You immediately have to switch like, oh, these things are dangerous now, and now, oh, those things are not dangerous anymore. Because like right here, this iframe, but you iframed a white curse when you were white, and they had and your HP was very full.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like stuff like that is like I'm just not comfortable with the colors because like that's such a simple thing. Is just like jump over it. You might take one tick. I could probably even walk through it, like dash through it or walk through it, and it wouldn't have mattered. But
Yeah.
and then not
the
being
next time
comfortable with
it's
the exact colors of everything.
Exactly, and now it's FMA, and now you don't have your iframe, and now you're dead again. Yeah. And that's and that happens like 3 times. Boom, 3 lives extra. And now instead of 4, you're on 7. So much more breathing room, right? And you hadn't.
Yeah.
All these changes like the timing on when you press the things. Yeah. There's a list in the ! Black Mage. I think there's a list on like which curse everything gives.
Yeah, I was reading through the in-depth document. I don't know. Oh, you have like okay. Let me tab.
And then I would just like read over it like a few times a day, just fucking imprint it, or make like flashcards or whatever you need to do.
Yeah, this is the guide I was using, but I was having trouble like finding some of the stuff, like some of the skills and just like making sure I'm memorizing those. But yeah, actually, flashcards might not be a bad idea, which is kind of funny. But yeah, just making sure I know what curses stuff are. Like in P2, it's really not that hard, but P3 is where just so I know what.
There's just so much stuff going on. How have you been, by the way, with like hard Lotus? How's that been for you? Just easy.
Blow it up.
Just blow it up.
Hilarious. Yeah. Well, so like I really enjoy like struggle bosses. I think it might crash again. Hello.
No, I can hear you. Yeah.
All right, good. I saw your stream was buffering.
Oh, sorry.
Me, so I was like, oh.
I think I dropped a few frames. Yeah.
Yeah. So with Hard Lotus, like I've been clearing that for a few weeks now since I was like 30k stat. I did a 29-minute, 59-second Hard Lotus run with just a green pot on. When I first was practicing it, so like I've been doing. I've only died out one time ever, and it was just because I was being an idiot. So like that was kind of like that was the first boss that I was like practicing a bunch just because it was like fun mechanically and stuff like that, like slightly mechanically challenging and but yeah, so like that's a breeze for me. Like right now, I did it in 6 minutes without my arcanes being 21. So
jeez. Yeah.
So we'll see how fast that goes.
For me, it was like the reliability and mechanically. Like once I started practicing Black Mage, but I guess you're past that point already. Like once I started practicing Black Mage more, Lotus just became so easy. It was like every single situation was like, I have like 3 minutes to respond to this, right? Because you're just used to phase 3 when there's just so much stuff going on all the time. And then Lotus, compared to that, Lotus is like there's nothing going on, right? Like, oh no, 2 demolish houses at the same. Oh no, 4 demolish houses. Oh no, this is like an average Tuesday on any Black Mage run in phase 3, right? It's always so much more chaotic there. So then for me, those bosses, but I guess for you that'll be like Dark Knell then, right? Because that's like the next level of cancer above those bosses.
Yeah, that's what. Like I did my first like duo run like 2 resets ago, and then this past reset I did a solo run. And I mean I kill it pretty decently fast, so it's not too bad. I don't have to survive too long. And I can wait for burst if I want to. But I did enjoy the boss fight. Like I know Hard Dark Knell is like a whole nother beast, but like that's definitely something I'm gonna enjoy practicing. Just like anything that's like mechanically challenging like that is fun because it's like, especially with practice mode. Like obviously you could never do that stuff before, but with practice mode, I can literally just go in like 20 times a day with Green Pot, and it's super and like blast some music and like practice the mechanics, and then you learn like different situations. Like I wish I could do that with BM. Like there was like a phase practice, like I could go straight to phase 3 and just sit in phase 3 for like 40 minutes by myself. Like I would love that, but you unfortunately don't have that luxury.
Same thing. Or like a HP interval, right? For some bosses, like you could just go into Dark Knell with like last 33% or something, right? When when he summons like 16 of those dudes at the same time.
Yeah.
Because that is the thing, like the further you go, the more you want to actually avoid the corners. Like in the beginning, the corners are like pretty safe, right? But the further you go, you want to get out of the corners. Because if all of those dudes spawn at the same time, like around your corner, there's just nowhere for you to go except, you know, the afterlife, basically. So now you kind of want to stay away from the corner. No, Crispel, he said he got to phase 3 one time with 12 lives, and then to phase 4 with, I believe, 4 lives, he said?
4 lives, yeah.
Yeah. So there's still 8 deaths. That's not the end of the world. You can definitely... do you need to talk about phase 4 a little bit? Because did you have a phase 4 in the run?
Yeah, there was a phase 4.
All the way in the end? Oh,
yeah, all the way in the end on that run. That was my best run. They just wanted whatever our best run was, so... Or whatever we thought our best run was, so... Yeah, I get bullied in P4. P4, it's pretty funny. I just have no... I mean, it's the first time I've been there, so it's like, you got no idea what's happening, but...
Yeah, I had one really bad experience with P4 where he would just kind of just always stay exactly where he was and just from a very long, from just very far away would just be pelting at me, but he would never approach me. So it was really tricky for me to like decide when to go in, and he was like bugging out. But otherwise, you seem like generally he's moving towards you. So yeah, we could talk through the mechanics a little bit. But the recording seems to be a little bit... seems to not be having a great time. Okay, here we go. So this is like what I was talking about, right? Where they shoot out like 4 at a time. So you can tank some of those, but then if you also have the explosion at the same time, you can lose your HP quite a bit. So what you kind of want to do now is like be here, and then as soon as you see that, yeah, go to the right, yeah, but then approach again. And so here you have to look at the color, right? So it's very faint, but you see like the outline is slightly darker here on those guys and also on this guy, and then this one is lighter, right? You see that that's the shade of difference. And the second thing you can tell it by is the color here on the roots. So here you see they have somewhere they have a black side, right? So here it's stuck behind the levels. So this one is a safe spot, basically. These 3 are safe spots. This one is a safe spot. So even with this is not enough to kill you. So anywhere here would have been safe.
Yeah, that threw me off because like I was looking at the BM guide and I saw like I think the one in the BM guide had it like all on the floor, like all this like the marks on the floor for the different colors. So I was like, I got to that and I was like, is it bugged? Like, where do I go? Because I didn't see the black on the top or anything. But now that I know, like, you know, I know I can look for that. But you know, it gets super stressful, that situation.
Yeah, because sometimes it's so far up the top or so far up the bottom, it's hard to see whether it's like the grayish one or like the really dark one. And then it's really just seeing if there's any kind of contrast between the color of the spire. Most of the time, like this is an unlucky one, because then if you're anywhere in the middle, you're like looking around. By the time you're looking around, you're already dead. And then what you did like with kind of like panic iframing is like the best thing to do a little bit earlier. But like that would be like the best thing to do at that point. Now it's just unfortunate that I think your skill does go on cooldown here. Or does it not? Wait, that's a 1 next? Yeah. So now it's on cooldown, but you still died or something. Yeah, great. Yeah, so if you're running more with damage, this is like where if you res, you get your iframe. Well, like 2 deaths ago is where you get your healing fams. So this is the dangerous part. And don't be scared to just like up jump and then just blink and just wait until all the white balls are gone. So this is, again, like with the priorities, you're always going to be in black curse here, right? So you really only need to dodge the white stuff. Like all of the black stuff, you could just face tank. It's totally fine. But these are the dangerous things, the explosions. Most of the times, if you see the explosions, the best thing you could do is just stand still in the beginning. Because what's most likely going to happen if you're really trying to dodge is you're just going to dash into another one and then get hit by 2 and then die. But if you get hit by 1, then you just take damage from the 1 and then you know you can at least tank survive. This is a little bit... It's fine, yeah. So I frame that just in time to get hit by that thing. Oh, another explosion. Ooh, yeah, and then all the balls, yeah. Because the explosions are really just... Yeah, they're a killer. They do so much damage. But I think here you... yeah, here you use that ball. So you can... I think so you can do damage.
I was just using because I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, you didn't know what was going on. Sometimes if I use
Yeah,
iframes, I also like to just go to the other side just to get like change of scenery. But he's kind of like stuck in the middle for you here as well. But now you see, now you have the white explosion. You take damage. I think you do heal back up here. But this is like a little bit, this is a little bit much at the same time. So you want to stay away from this. So you're in a good position, but now you see the white explosion here, which can happen.
So I want to.
So now you want to go
away from like I did.
So this is good. This is going to happen. This is good. But at this point, since there are white balls here, you want to make sure that you stay to the right side, because this is like where it's safe now. The only thing that can kill you there is if an explosion hits on the right side as well. And if it does, then, you know, fuck me, I guess. Or you can dash up maybe to counter it. But these little white balls were going to kill you, yeah.
What's the hitbox on the explosion? Like, I don't know if you could pause it and like maybe circle what you think the hitbox is.
I wonder if they have a picture of it here. No. No, that's something else. It is. It's like definitely the initial explosion is what hits. I think during this phase, I think the
second part doesn't do anything really.
I think it's mainly the white part here. I think that's about the size of it.
Okay, so like all those lines that come out the sides, like the big like propeller looking things, like those aren't really part of the.
Yeah, no, that's not. Yeah, that's just trying to make it look spooky.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well that's a lot more manageable, because I was just like, dude, these are huge. Like I don't know where to go. Like that's why I was kind of panicking. But okay, that makes it a lot more manageable for sure.
You see how close you're standing to it here?
So I get hit by that.
Yeah,
white
no,
one?
it is bigger. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's this spike still hits you. It shouldn't be ping, so that should be. So I wonder if it's at this spike or if it's that line.
Oh, the white line. I see what you're talking about.
But it might disappear here. Oh no, it runs to here. So it could be that you're. This could be point of impact though. So if this is really like point of impact, then it'll be that spike, which that's further than I thought it ever was, to be honest.
Yeah, it's just tough because I'm trying to. I mean, again, first time getting there, but the more people we have get there, the more damage we'll have and stuff. Like, or the longer people survive in P3 and whatnot.
Yeah, less pressure. You can just take your time.
We'll just well, just like getting to P4 faster. Like the more people survive in P3 and P2, the more damage we'll have. So the faster we'll get there. So hopefully I'll have more lives, to just practice for the next couple of runs.
Dude, I doubt it's that flare though, but it kind of looks like it that way right here, right? You're getting hit at this point. Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell because of fucking skill. I think it's a spike that just barely touches you here, but you're already moving to the left. So I think this was the impact hit. This place right here.
So would it be more viable? I understand that he did like kind of the big circle with the white balls. Should I have just corkscrewed, you think? Because I wouldn't have died then if I just corkscrew at him. But it's dangerous, but like it's less dangerous than getting bodied by
corkscrew? Is it like this much? Like the size, like from where you are to like your switch indicator, kind of.
It's like right past the switch indicator. Like it's on the left side of the switch indicator, probably. Or like maybe like left side, somewhere in the middle, maybe somewhere in there. It's not super far, but
yeah, this is why I said sometimes it's better if there's a big explosion on you to just stay in, because two of them will never be like right on top of each other. They can like slightly overlap, but they won't be like completely on top of each other. Like really uncommon. So sometimes it's better if you're gonna get, you're gonna get hit anyway because of the giant fucking hitbox. It's just better just stand still and just take it, because then
focus on not eating
and then focus on not getting hit by other stuff after that. Yeah, because because now by trying to get away from the explosion, where the danger has already happened and you've already gotten hit by that, so it can't hurt you anymore. It's already hurt you. I mean, it's actually beautiful because you jump in like the perfect trajectory to make sure you hit every single ball on the way down to take as much damage as possible, so you could confirm the L on the dismount. I mean, it's actually a thing of beauty, but it should be framed. It's a beautiful jump. But yeah, you're looking back on it.
Walked forward, yeah. I know. As soon as
or just stand still. Like, honestly, if you just fucking stood still, And then even when the explosion disappeared, you just slightly move to the right, you'd be totally fine. Because by that time you get healed again as well, and you're totally okay. But this is like a pure like panic mode, like I've got to do something, and then you do like the worst possible thing. And it's I mean, God knows I've done it dozens of times. So yeah, that explosion is just scary. The worst part is when you're standing right in the middle of like 2 explosions. You're like, you already know you're gone. You're just like, well, I guess I'm dead, because just like dead. But like you said, you'll end up with more lives. More people will end up getting there. You'll have way more time to do all your damage, and
yeah,
you could just calm, and you may have gotten there with damage fems, you know, at that point, and then maybe you switch back to healing fems just to give yourself a little bit more breathing room. But yeah, definitely don't like jump over him or like through him unless you're iframing, because that's really, really dangerous.
Okay. Yeah, I think
abuse
just finding
blink. Abuse blink, you know, like you see a lot of the balls coming.
Yeah.
You just wait them out, up jump, blink, stay in the air. You get hit by an explosion, stay in the air, you know, wait for the health to come back, then go down.
Yeah, I think I used blink like one time just because I saw like people using it in a guide or something, and it's just like one of those things that's like I'm gonna have to get a lot more comfortable doing that to tank like 1 or 2 white balls or something. I don't even know if I did it in. Well, this is the only run that I made to P4. I was gonna say I don't know if I did it in this run, but
yeah, this is about how close they can get the explosions, but they won't be like overlapping. But this is like the closest you can get. So if you're even like remotely close to that, you're just, you know, it's fucking game over, and that's gonna happen. But that's like we said in phase 3. Like that's one of those situations where if that happens, like when the animation cancels his kick or something, if that happens, you know, you're definitely allowed to die to that. That's totally fine. But the amount of situations like that are gonna happen is gonna be so low. I think you were floating here. I think. Yeah, because here you kind of cornered. Yeah, this is kind of spooky. And you get an explosion there. I think, yeah, you dodged that. And then you blink. Yeah. Yeah, you did that very well. Yeah. Now you want to get out of the corner as soon as possible.
Okay. Where do I want to keep him? In the middle? Like, is it?
Yeah, you want to get past him. Yeah, you have no iframe here. So we can see kind of what leads up to this.
Just stand there. Heck.
Okay, so hit the black thing here. So here, this is a good time. So here he's starting the shotgun. So you know what that means, right? It's like 4 white balls, 4 white balls, 4 white balls. So you could, with your dash, you could just dash right underneath him here and get to the other side. This is a good time to do it because there was just an explosion here. You see a white explosion winding up. By the time you get there, it's going to be gone. So you could get underneath here. Because he's like stuck doing that. So like say where
that black explosion, that's when the damage happens.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, like when it gets those spikes that like all like those the ring of spikes that comes out.
Yeah, but like this one hit you, right? This one is totally safe. It's really only the white stuff.
The black one can hit me. I'm just saying like the actual like when the damage is gonna happen to you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this one is spooky, but this one is one that you can jump through if you need to, right? You can just get hit by 1 or 2. Like now.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. By this time, you will have wanted to be out of the corner because now it's spooky. Because now you see the explosion here and little balls at the same time. Ooh, HP is gonna go low. There's a not really good moment. Like here, these are slower balls, so these you can use to dash through. Like you have a little bit more time, but now it's a little bit too late. And the shotgun, so now the only thing you can do is blink, yeah. And you get the explosion, you get like the worst combination of things. But the explosion didn't hit you, you were just far enough out of it. But you're still in, you know, danger zone. And you're running into the corner here, but there's no threat here, and you don't have your iframe, so you're kind of screwed there.
Yeah, I think that was also. I could have got over there.
Yeah, you could have jumped through these. This was it wasn't too many balls, but you were still kind of fuzzy on the colors, right? But if you look at the threads like this, and you have now you have the calmness, right? You can just look at the picture. You can clearly see where the safe spots are and where they're not, right? You don't even have to look for the bottom black or whatever. You could just see that they're just slightly darker. But yeah, in the moment, there's so much going on.
Yeah, hindsight's 20/20 for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you see you're getting hit, so you move back. Are you taking a little bit too much? Because now you wasted your heal on the little balls instead of on the explosion. So now you have to be careful for the next. Because now any explosion now kills you, right?
Yeah.
Like that one would have killed you. Now you have to be like. But if instead you dodge those little balls, then you got hit by the explosion, you would have healed after the explosion, and then you would have been way safer now. You wouldn't have been in such a like high alert mode on like, oh fuck, I could die to anything right now, because then you would have been full HP. And then maybe this wouldn't have happened, right? Maybe you could have reacted to this one right after that, maybe a little bit more calmly, because you were just like, oh, I'm full HP. I'm chilling. You know? And if you're full HP, even if you're standing in one of those barns and there's like 6 of those little balls hitting you, you're still safe, right? Because you can tank 10 of those. And by that time, your healing comes back, and then after the AoE, boom, you heal back up, you're good. The hardest part for you is like confirming your damage here, because you can't be bound, and you need to be close, right?
Yeah. Well, I think it's just gonna be getting comfortable with all the shit that's flying everywhere. And I mean, you know, you take it one step at a time. It was the same thing with P3. You know, I'm definitely like from the first run to the last run, like I clearly made a lot like leaps and bounds. So, and I think that's just kind of what I do is like it just takes like I have to get bullied by whatever phase
just die to everything.
It is. And I have to do that to then realize like, okay, next time we have all these things to work on, but just like, you know, sleep on those, like sit on them, think about them till the next like practice session. And then that's kind of what that's pretty much what I've done with like every boss. And like that happened with like Will. Like I got taken on like 3 or 4 Will practice runs in one day. And I was like, dude, I'm never going to do this boss. And then I had a little bit of damage and a spot opened up for a hard Will run. And I just instantly ran hard Will. Like there was no like running, like doing normal or any more practice. It was just like, okay, do the boss. Like, cause I just need that time to all the stuff to sink in, and you know.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I mean, and on lives, you're doing well, and the next meta thing is not to feel too pressured when other people start getting better as well, and they start like catching up to you. That you don't feel too bad that they're like learning at a different, in a different way than you are. Yeah, that happened to me because in the beginning I was doing very well, and then I fell off super hard immediately. I was like, oh shit, never mind, not doing that well.
I mean, for me, it's like I'm literally just chasing the dudes who actually know how to do the boss. Like and hoping that everybody else is coming along in their own way. Like, and by the time we're ready to try to clear, like we can clear. Because especially like for me, like I don't have a lot of keys. Like like we have to be like ready to clear by the time we go in, or I could get screwed pretty hard. Like if we're failing like multiple real runs a month, like I'll run out by like month 2 or 3.
Yeah.
So, but that's my problem. But again, it'd be ideal if we're ready to actually clear by the time, like comfortably clear by the time we're ready to do a real run.
Yeah, you're starting at a pretty low level. Yeah, we were all quite a lot higher, but of course, metrics and requirements is all very much shifted. If you look at the very first Black Mage runs, it was crazy how much they needed to min-max every single thing to squeeze out the damage, and now those people are like soloing in 10 minutes or something. Whatever. Yeah,
even like when I hit 265, like I'll probably hit 265 tomorrow, so Wednesday. I'll be doing like 60 bill a second, so like technically that's enough for like a bare min run, like an hour run. So like I'll be able to confirm a little bit of damage, to hopefully help everybody else like as well, like speed the process up, so gets everyone else more lives for more phases and stuff like that.
Yeah, the main thing is just staying on top of it. Phase 3, if you stay on top of him and you don't get kicked, or you don't die from the kicks at least, the run is infinitely simpler already. He doesn't move around as much. Because you saw like that run that we just watched together, right? The amount of super lasers there versus the first ones you guys did is like night and day difference, right? The first one was like every 5 seconds super lasers. So like, okay, you're just going to die. Cause
oh, that was totally my fault too. What? They were like, you do know it spawns supers if you stay ducked. I was like, oh,
that's why you were surviving. You were just laying on the ground the whole run. I see.
Yeah, the first day we did it on like Friday or whatever, or I think it was like Friday night or something. I literally was just staying ducked the whole time, and at the end they were like, "You guys know that it spawns lasers."
Yeah, this is why you have VOD reviews, because then you could see that there's one guy just laying on the ground the whole hidden tiger, crouching buck, like going trying Trying to stay out of dodge. Yeah, yeah. This is like an extreme version of all the other bosses, right? Like it's good to go in, and just try to live, and then once you get that down, you try to damage, and then you still get clapped, and then you try to find the middle ground between when can I damage, when can I not. But this is one where you just get punished really hard for the smallest of mistakes. So there's just so little room for error, and then once you find that room, then you can exploit that room for damage, and then you're good. But I see a lot of progress. I saw some juicy runs. I saw you jumping around a lot in phase 3. I almost didn't see that now. There's like one skill that kind of lifts you off the ground a little bit though, right?
I think that's my lightning orb. Some iframe that does that. Are you talking about like just like where the feet like just come off the ground a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you're floating a little bit, like levitating a little bit. Not like you're swimming, but like you're levitating. Yeah, I don't know quite how to say that.
Yeah, that should be iframe. It's either that or Pirate Banner, but you probably know what Pirate Banner looks like.
Dude, I always get knocked down in Pirate Banner. It's supposed to be knockdown resistance, no?
I use it as that. I literally maxed it out so I could use it for super stance.
Yeah.
That's
maybe the timing.
So
that
I have a 30-second super stance.
Every time I'm in the animation, like slamming it down, I still get knocked back. Maybe it's only in the beginning of the animation or something. Maybe I'm not timing it right. Probably not.
Could be closer to the end because I use it and animation cancel it, and I get enough knockdown resistance to usually like tank like a kick, for example. Like I can usually eat a kick with that, without getting thrown across the map. I use it a lot more in P2, than I do, but like it's really unnecessary in P2 anyway. But just for anything like, because you do have a small iframe in it too, but it's like almost impossible to use.
Oh really? Yeah. Oh, that's also extra ID, by the way. We forgot to mention that, right? Powerfly is also extra ID.
Yeah. For, I mean, especially since I technically is 100% of time, so it's 25% IED, but
it's significant enough to take it to account if you're looking at like getting rid of lines on your WSE, right?
Yeah, for sure. Like I can easily use it when we're getting ready for a burst. It's very easy time to use it. And the nice part is like you probably know you can leave it. Like, because if I animation cancel like Howling Fist and dash forward like with Corkscrew Blow, like even if I go out of it, I just walk back in and like I still keep the buff and stuff for like a good second after you walk out, second and a half or so.
Yeah. So. Yeah, it's more forgiving than like a roar. If you walk even like a millisecond out, it's gone forever, but the flag just stays. Yeah. And it's a pretty big area as well. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, I'd say it's a good. Like I can corkscrew and I'm still like I can literally take one step backwards and I'm in the hitbox still. So like it is definitely a pretty solid hitbox.
And it's extra stat as well, right? So you get to
25%. Yeah.
Flex stat a little bit.
That's yeah.
That's why Jet is so boosted.
I just slapped on my banner and I'm already 50k stat. I don't know what happened.
It counts, dude. 100% uptime. It's your buff. Count it.
True. I'm picking up what you're putting down. I like that.
I mean, and you're a buck, so you're supposed to stay that close to the boss and that close range, right? So that is where you want to be all the time anyway. Yeah,
I try to use it. I try to like in P3 it's a little hard because you're worried about so much more like with the lasers and stuff. And if I don't animation cancel it, I might get kicked. If I animation cancel it, I might fly into like a laser. So you're dancing a fine line to get a little bit of extra damage, but I mean that little bit of ID could translate to like 2% final damage for the entire party.
Well, like you were saying, it kind of sucks because it's your burst damage, but in a way you have like your burst is the ideal way to set up your burst because you can do one ball and then just do 2 skills, do another ball, right? And you can stay immune the whole thing, but you want to have everything on before you throw the balls because that's what your damage is. So it's a little backwards, sadly.
Well, that's what I definitely did that like once or twice in some of the runs is like I would throw an orb and then pop the last 3 of my skills, like the Stimulating Conversation, the Maple Goddess Blessing, and then Epic Adventure. I would pop those right after I orbed.
Yep.
And as long as there wasn't like a kick or whatever we were doing, whatever phase we were in.
Right.
But I definitely used it to buff sometimes or to pop like Arachnid Reflection or something just for a little bit extra damage. Especially if the skill was going to run out. Like a lot of times it's kind of, so everything's freaking blue. So it's really annoying with the skills. So I look at the top left and I can't find it. So what I started doing was Stimulating Conversations a 90-second cooldown. So I just look at how much time that has left. And if it has like 15 seconds, I know either my lightning form's just running out or it's about to run out, depending on how long ago I pressed it. Because I try to pop those at the same time. Like I'll do it like in between a kick. I'll pop both of those and then I'll duck again and then pop the rest of everything. So generally speaking,
yeah, you got to find what indicator works for you. I think it would be cool if the the skill alarm that we have now, you could set it to like when the skill comes back up, or you could set it to when the current skill expires, right? Like for dice roll, it'd be really cool if you roll a really nice dice, you don't want to, or really nice dice, you don't want to roll over them, but you're so focused on looking at the bottom right to see when the skill comes off cooldown that you end up sometimes rolling over like a double 5 or a double 6, right? It would be cool if you could set it to only give me the alarm when it runs out on the top right, so that you know when to re-roll it, or that you set a custom one, like let me know 10 seconds before the skill is up, for example, or 15 seconds before the skill is up. Something like that could be really cool, because then like trying to cycle infinity with your bind as an ice lightning, for example, like you have to know exactly, there's like 63 more seconds available on my bind. That means I can now start my infinity to optimize my damage, right? But you have to do those maths in your head all the time rather than just letting the game handle that part. That would be cool if you had that customization.
Yeah, I was talking about that a little bit with like especially because they added like you can make it blink, you can put the timer in the middle, on the side, and stuff like that. I just wish you could move it, right? Because like it's hard to want to look to the bottom right or the top right when your character's dead center of your screen most of the time. So it's just a really big like
you're in 1080 as well, because then it's even smaller and even further away as well, right? I mean, in general, like HUD, like HUD customization in general should be a thing. You should be able to just resize everything and place it wherever you want, right?
Yeah, because then I would put it like dead center underneath my character and then move like my HP bar and stuff like top right or like top center or something like that. Or even just right next to it or whatever. But that actually would be like super, super nice.
Yeah, a lot of times you look back at your runs and you're like, oh my god, of course I should have done this instead. Of course I should have done this.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm just learning. I'm not stressing it too much because it's like I'll get better with every run, even if it's just by a little bit. And as long as I'm not holding everybody else back.
I didn't mean to show that.
Like, the jump, that's
the
so
fucking
funny.
jump is so hilarious. It's so good.
As long as I'm not holding the party back and the party is still progressing and stuff like that, like it's not a big deal whether I'm doing everything super perfectly. Like obviously I want to progress by myself, like in the boss fight, as much as possible. But as long as I'm not like the reason we're not running, like it's I look at it as like it's okay to like mess up stuff.
Definitely.
But obviously just keep getting better is always the end goal.
Yeah, and there'll be some setbacks, and there'll definitely be like that one run where you clear, and then there'll be one run at least after that when you don't clear anymore, and everyone's going to be like, oh, it's not free, And that realization is, I think pretty much every party's had that after your first clear, there's always going to be still the last fail, And that's just good because it keeps you grounded and keeps you focused during the boss fight. And it's really not until everyone's just, like rocking 55 plus K stat and you're literally just manhandling them every time you go in there that you're like, you're just, shooting the shit while you're doing it, and everyone's totally okay on lives. And if one person is a little bit lower on lives, they could just stay dead the whole time. You can basically just 5-man it, or even 4-man it at that point. So should be fine. Okay, we went quite a bit overtime, but I don't mind. But we don't want to go too much more overtime.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you? Do you feel like you're good?
Yeah, I pretty much was just worried about the the events coming up and with like what my upgrade path should be. But I do actually appreciate the heads up on not pushing my tattoo a little farther. And instead focusing on Twilight Mark, because that would have been not the most ideal scenario, because then it's more of a side upgrade rather than a like forward upgrade path, and then just save money on that. And then with the Black Mage stuff, like that's exactly like that VOD review is perfect, because there's a lot of like stuff that it's hard to ask questions when especially because like Aqua and Paul are trying to teach like the whole party, so it's tough to like get specific advice like just a whole VOD review session like with super in-depth questions and stuff. So that definitely helped a lot.
I'm sure they're willing to do that though. I'm pretty sure
No,
Noah's
yeah, for
probably up
sure.
for that as well. But you gotta probably do that like outside of with everyone sitting there and doing it at the same time, because then it's really tricky. But it's also good to
Well,
look,
yeah.
look through your own VODs and kind of, because there's a bunch of things, like we said, like there's a bunch of things where you could be like, oh, I could obviously do this, I could obviously do this. But if someone else goes through it and is like, oh, look at your timing here, and then a very small decision, it's kind of like butterfly effect, right? Where you're like, oh, I'm kind of using the iframe there as a panic. You think it's not a big deal, but it does lead to a death later, because then you don't have the skill back. And it's really a thing like, you know, the iframe, that big iframe, you just always hold it for like the AoE, because you already only have it every 2. So you want to make sure that at least one of the every 2 is a guaranteed I survive this, right?
Yeah, definitely saving like Howling Fist and not using it as a panic button, or
Yeah.
using it better as a panic button rather than just panicking straight up. You know, that helps for sure.
Yeah, and just keep looking at the which colors which things are, because there was a few times where you're just like doing it out of, you know, better to be safe than sorry, which is nice, but then there are other situations where that should be better safe than sorry. Rather, for example, like there's just a lot of stuff happening, and that's when you definitely want to have them available to you, and then not have them on cooldown because you used them before when it was basically like only 1% necessary, right? When it's another situation where it's like 50% necessary, then you want to try to slam them.
Yeah. Yeah, that and shoot, what was I gonna say? Shoot, there's one more.
We're talking about the iframes, the bursting.
Oh, like knowing what stuff is like knowing what stuff is like exactly gonna give me what curse and P3 and whatnot.
Yeah.
Just like actually getting that ironed out, because it is tough to like, I don't know, like
The breaking
keep getting
platform is, what color is it?
during.
What curse is it?
It's white.
Yeah.
White. Nice.
What else is white? Name all of the white curses.
Kick.
Yeah.
The balls that fall from the sky, and then also rollings. And that's everything that's white in P3.
Yeah,
and
is that
black
everything?
curse. That is yes, that is everything.
Okay, just checking.
And then black curse is both the lasers and like those balls, like those like blue little like, crystal ball things that like shoot out.
Yeah, I've heard them call
And
them
there's,
like
like-
angels or something, yeah.
Angels, yeah.
Or whatever they call them. I think there's only one thing that doesn't give you any curse, right? So I think the reverse ball doesn't give you any curse.
I don't think so. It just does like I think it does 15% HP per tick, is what I read, and then it just reverses you.
Which is
I was also
annoying.
having a really tough time with why I was getting skill locked, but that's because I was taking cursed. I didn't understand that was because of the curse deaths.
Yeah. Doesn't have to be a death, right? But it's like
Or the
if you get hit by one curse when you have the
life.
other, then you get sealed, yeah.
Yeah.
So you see it here, this person has black and then gets white, doesn't die, but seals right after. Oh, actually does die. Never mind. You see the indicator?
Yeah, they lose the
Yeah.
life or whatever. They don't die, but they lose the life.
Yeah, the curse. Yeah, exactly. You use the cursed life, but not the tombstone one. Yeah. Where's the reverse ball? Oh, here. Yeah. See, so
big
they
red
don't.
one.
Yeah, so they don't have a curse. 15% HP, and key reverse. Yeah. It's very annoying when you try to like approach the boss and then you get reversed. Like right here, I think they had white curse. Yeah. But then you get reversed and you walk into one of those and then you still die to that, right? Or you get unreversed and then walk forward into one. Yeah. It's just enough stuff going on at the same time to just mess you up on every move.
Dude, I hate that for like Will. Like you'll get pushed and then you're like pushed next to the web and then you just walk into the web because you're reversed.
Yeah.
One
One of the things you learn, like when you get kicked, don't touch your keyboard. Just fucking hands off. Because half of the time you just walk into your death. And if you do nothing, you'll actually be more likely to be safe than if you try to touch your keyboard, yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, I see a lot of progress in your way, but yeah, I mean, gear-wise, you're already so far. So you're kind of in the same situation as my DA, right? You're just needing to slam the level so you can confirm it.
Yeah.
But you get your 21s, you get your potentials. And then, yeah, when 22ing becomes an issue, then like Shining definitely be like CRA 22ing, I'm guessing. But aside from that,
yeah, just doing the. Well, I'm gonna do the. I'm gonna get the other two Sweetwaters, like the pendant and the monocle to 21, and then depending on what kind of money I have, then we maybe cope for some 22s. I might hold on the just because, like, I'm gonna try to spend as much money on cube sale as I can. I might just hold Twilight Marks until I get to Shining, just because it's really right around the corner. It's like a month and a half after, or a month, or whatever,
Yeah.
should be like early January. So I mean, may as well get the most value out of that. So I may just hold those as well to try to 22-1.
And Matt thinks it might be mid December, so only like 2 months.
Could be even,
yeah,
it
so
could be
less
even
than 2
sooner
months.
then.
The only other thing though is that you also want to consider to which extent, because you're going very much in depth into this character, to which extent you want to go into with maybe boost any kind of bossing mules a little bit more to maybe make it faster, or increase the amount of bossing mules, and to which extent you want to go invest in other characters as well, because once you're thinking about tapping 22s, those are very big investments, and that same amount of money on another new character can completely like launch that character's career as well, if spent on the right things, or just good WC stuff like that. So there's also something to consider, but we're looking months away from there, and then at that point you have your budget, right? You can use your calculators to see like, okay, now you probably don't count like 1% of the expected cost like you did so far, but expect a little bit higher, and then see if that's a reasonable upgrade for you, or if maybe a nice drop on another character, or maybe you get a pitch by then, and you want to tap that instead.
Yeah, I plan on making 6 more bossing mules, so I'll have 11 mules, and then my main, and then I want to take the Wind Archer to Tenebrous bosses. So, just like
it's your Hyperburn, and then send it off.
Well, the my Hyperburn's actually gonna be a Night Lord.
Okay.
Just because I'm gonna get it to like 25k stat and blow everything up, like include it like slime and then everything before. I just think it'd be fun, because why not?
Yeah.
Because I feel like Night Lord's either like an all or nothing bossing mill. You either fund it very heavily, or it's gonna be not a good time, because it's gonna like reburst like P3 Lotus and stuff like that. So I'll do that, and then I'm gonna do a Bowmaster, Marksman, and then all 3 Explorer Warriors is the last 6.
Yeah, they're all strong. So.
Oh yeah, I know. That's what it's. I mean, they're all pretty free. Even Paladin doesn't have the best scaling on its attacks, but
it was so much easier than I thought it was going to be. Just throw a bunch of hammers around and things die. It's pretty straightforward.
But yeah, I think got that pretty ironed out on like what I want to do with those. It's just a matter of getting my main at least like full 21s where I want it, and then I can hold there and circle back. Especially nodes too is going to be a big struggle point, because I'm still trying to max out like I really want to max out Urda Shower and Will skill, but other than that, and Blink's level 16, Urda Shower's level 1, and Will skill's only level 4, like Urda Will. So I still have like 1,000 nodes I want to throw on my main.
Yeah.
and then each mule costs 500 nodes, so it's definitely tough to decide where you want to allocate what and where it's really going to give you the best benefit.
I mean, as long as you're enjoying the character, just fucking go for it. Yeah.
For sure.
All right. Well, I wish you guys the best of luck. So November clear, November 1st, right? First clear.
I don't know. I don't know if that's what our game plan is, or if we're gonna wait till Ignition to clear, because they were talking about after Ignition we're gonna try to sync up Burst with Split, because Jay's gonna go from 4 minute to 2 minute as well.
Yeah.
So that'll give us the best opportunity to confirm a lot of damage. I
think Aqua's gonna take some nerfs though, right? On a shade.
Yeah. I don't know if we're going for first clear before that, or if that's what we're planning on waiting for after that. But I think it's probably gonna be first week in November, as long as everyone is is comfortable. Everyone's comfortable with clearing.
Sure thing. Okay. Well, we'll have that to look forward to. We'll see the screenshots, and we'll hear the screaming people in the Discord. Maybe I'll join in to hear what it's like. Maybe show it on stream and stuff like that. But yeah, wish you good luck. Hopefully we get all of those sales and events that we're like planning on. Hopefully those all just happen. Hopefully not Maplefest and the game dies and and everyone throws a temper tantrum because no totems or something. doom scenario. But yeah, I hope that all goes well, and wish you best of luck with all your upgrading. And 270 when? Question mark.
Next month. It'll be next month.
Okay.
Wait for the message in chat.
Yeah. Well, dude, I've been congratulating so many people leveling. It's been
Crazy, dude. Like 10 people a day, and it's insane.
And it's all people in their 240s, 250s, 260s, and 270s. Like, it's not like a 210 who's like leveling a few times. It's like all really high level stuff. So that's good. Okay. Well, yeah. Good luck. And yeah, if you still have some questions with Black Mage, you can always tip in. I'm definitely not an expert, but I have some clears now, so always take time if you feel like other people, you don't want to burden the other people too much. So they're already helping a lot. Then you can always ask. So
yeah, for sure. I appreciate that whole VOD review session.
You're welcome. Okay.
Right.
Well, yeah, I'll see you around.
Yep.
And thanks for being a productive member of the guild.
I got you.
All right. See ya.
All right. Bye.
All right. Your totem is over, but you're doing a lot of totems because it's Night Troop. So you're welcome for the extra long session. So this even goes into your second totem. You're welcome again. You think you're playing KMST again? Welcome back, Pete. Yeah. So we went over a lot of stuff. And long session. God, it actually kind of wore me out. It was way longer than I was planning to go. I feel like my eyes are like getting tired. It's like, damn, is it that late already? But good stuff. Yeah, his gear is fucking insane. So there's only like a few things to do there. Familiars are like way better. I wish I could take some 20% bosses for my DA, so we didn't have to go over into those. So we didn't really go over into all of those details. Didn't pick up that many of the commands because we did a session. So if you want to see that was about 5 months ago. That must have been, I think, early to mid-May or something, if you want to see that, where we did a session with a Dawn Warrior. The Dawn Warrior, in the meantime, got to 250 as just a side character, and meantime, this character just started as a Terror Burn in Destiny and just went right past, or I think already existed in Destiny, but like became the new main, and yeah, is now. This is a little bit early to do Black Mage level-wise. Most of you, especially if it's your first character, won't be quite ready because you get so much damage reduction. But, if you're within your guild and you can start practicing, you have your second character, you can definitely get access and just, start to practice. And if you know you're going to put in the time to get those levels, the sooner you start, the more, once the damage and the practice come together, you'll be able to get that clear. So yeah, hopefully it helped some of you guys with some of the stuff that we looked at. Hopefully you picked up a few things here. And yeah, if you want one of these sessions, make sure you check the description of the video or use !mark coaching over in Twitch chat. Check me and be there in the chat. You can say something right now and be in the video forever. Pog. Except right now, everyone is toteming in Night Troop, of course. So people are super. My PP is hard. Nice, good job, Bussy, Pog. There we go. People are actually alive. These are real people. Okay. But yeah, so you can find me live over at twitch.tv/Scardor, or you can always just check out any of the other videos that should be showing up somewhere on the screen, maybe. And if you want one of these sessions, make sure you leave a comment that you would like to win, and with your Discord name, and then we'll maybe pick you at the end of the month. I pick 2 people at the end of every month that can get a free session like this with me, or you can use your channel points, like our friend here did, like Joe did. Use his channel points as a subscriber over at Twitch. Or you can use just a direct donation, and the price list for that is in the description as well. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video or on stream.